It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Jeff Jarvis is here. Aunt Pruitt. We're going to talk about Google, of course. They've announced the date for their Pixel 8 reveal. We'll also talk about Mark Zuckerberg. He says he can type 100 words per minute, and he doesn't even use a keyboard. It's amazing. Plus, Samsung renames the Whisk app to Samsung Food. All that and more coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twig.
This is Twig. This Week in Google, episode 731, recorded Wednesday, August 30th, 2023. Leo Saving Time. This episode of This Week in Google is brought to you by MyLeo. MyLeo Photos is a smart and powerful system that lets you easily organize, edit, and manage years of important documents, photos, and videos in an offline library, hosted on any device, and it's free. Visit myleo.com/twit. And by the Building Cyber Resilience Podcast, a show about tech and security from the perspectives of data scientist Dr. Ann Irvin and career CISO Rich Sierson regarding the intersection of data, finance, and cyber risk management. Search for Building Cyber Resilience on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the now Stacy free This Week in Google. And it's so bad we couldn't even get somebody to take over from Stacy today. But we've got people coming up, so don't worry. It's just we had hoped to get somebody, but we didn't.
Still working at it.
They were in italics, as it turned out. But next week, no Jeff, no Jason. So that means it's you and me and Glenn Fleischman.
Oh boy! And I'm
Kathy Gellis will be joining us in the weeks to come.
Great.
And we're trying to get Joan Donovan. We had hoped to have Joan Donovan today, but
that's right.
Schedule did not permit. So we will continue to work. I have some ideas.
She's a little busy right now. Right?
She's very busy. She's probably planning the new semester at BU or new.
I'm also always happy to help when Jason puts up the bat signal. I'll send out things to people and
okay.
more people.
Bat signal, Jason, anytime.
He does. He does.
Yeah, I have some ideas about a permanent replacement, but I do feel, and I've heard this from a lot of correspondents, that it should be a woman.
Well, we tend to agree with you.
If you're going to replace Stacy, you should replace her with a woman. So that narrows it down to only half the population. So I'm going to work harder. No, I have some very good ideas. Actually, it's 51%, isn't it? I have some very good ideas for we want to try a number.
I'm eager to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we want to try some people
another
out.
Time.
Actually, that's what Lisa always says. She says, "Will they get along with Jeff?" Is what she always says.
Hey, am I hard to get along with?
It has to be somebody who gets along with Jeff. So,
what's so hard?
Well, basically, you'll note there'll be a parade of women. I have binders full of them, and if Jeff seems to get along with anybody, then we're definitely.
Oh, jeez, put it on me. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Hey, there's a lot of Google news. Google has announced its Pixel 8 launch event, and at the same time, accidentally put a picture on its Google store of a guy using a Pixel 8.
Here we go. Every year.
Which looks just like the Pixel 7, I have to say. It doesn't look that different.
I was just getting ready to think about getting the Pixel 7, and now out comes the 8, so I guess I'm waiting.
October 4th, a Wednesday, so we'll have a chance to do the event and then do This Week in Google immediately afterward. They sent out their invite.
October 8th. Oh, should be
October 4th. 4th. They sent out their invite the day after Apple sent out its invite for the iPhone 15. It's as if they're saying, hold on, wait till Apple says something. Okay, now we can do it.
Right. Strike while the iron is hot and
Google seems to really not know how to do any of this. Not at all.
No, because it's not their thing. Search is their thing.
And they also didn't think about me because it will be 10 a.m. Eastern time. So
what?
It's 7 in the morning here, New York City.
Oh, boy.
We'll find out. I think we know everything, but anyway, we'll find out. Pixel 8 Pro really does look a lot like the Pixel 7. We the camera layout is a little bit different, but not a whole lot different.
You think people care more about this? I mean, at least the Fold was compelling because it's different tech.
Yeah.
But these things are all just 6-inch slates of glass.
I think even Google,
now,
you think even Google knows this. That's why, which is why they no longer try. Here, they posted it on Threads.
Look at that, using Threads. I told you brands on Threads.
It's the iPhone with a cucumber in its camera bump talking to the Pixel with a cucumber on its cam. They're at the spa.
That's pretty cool.
And
pretty cool.
And is there audio? Let's see if there's
Sliding to unlock.
Oh yeah, let's go back and start over. How can I do that? Refresh. Let's refresh it. It's Threads. I don't understand it yet.
Nice. Pixel, a spa day was the perfect idea with all these big launch events coming up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, these launches just keep getting harder.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know what got applause at my first launch 16 years ago?
Sliding to unlock?
Sliding to unlock.
That's a good point.
Throwback.
Aha.
And we sued each other over it.
Anyway.
Did they?
Now
They
it
did.
seems
They
like
did.
every
They
time I
probably
turn
did.
around, phones like you are doing stuff I can't.
Because Apple
Like
had it all
unblurring
patented
old
down.
photos, answering unknown calls with AI, and live translating messages. It's exhausting. But I've still got a few
Why do
tricks
they
up my
choose such a
sleeve.
retro AI voice?
Like what?
That's under wraps. But let's just say you'll be USB-C'ing soon.
You're finally getting USB-C charging?
What? How did you know?
Lucky guess?
Okay.
I appreciate the fact that they said, you know what, this stuff is harder. It's hard to make these interesting.
It is, and I don't think they've succeeded. It's no better, no easier.
So is it once a year?
Yeah.
Was the 7 the same time last year?
No, because remember, yes, it was the same time
Usually
last year.
September.
Well, okay.
There's an A
Time flies.
version mid-year, right? This year they added folds. But almost always it's October, and it's they have tried in the past to jump Apple, and then they realized this is a bad idea.
No.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So they wait now until after Apple. Samsung jumps Apple. Samsung did their Pixel. Their Galaxy.
Samsung can. They have the largest market share
They're bigger.
on the planet.
Yeah.
So.
Although Apple is rapidly encroaching, and I think will soon be dominant worldwide. We'll see. Anyway, that's there you go. There's the big tech news this week. Thank you for joining us.
All right.
On This
Heck of
Week in
a
Google.
show.
Did I even introduce people? That's Ant Pruitt, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
He is not only a host on this show, he's our community manager on the Club Twit Discord.
I can't see you all very well, but hello.
What are you wearing? What is on your face?
These are my
those the
reading
new-
glasses, and my laptop looks amazing right now.
Crisp and clear.
But boy, everything out there, the cameras
old
and the
man,
monitors.
get progressive
and
lenses.
I think that's Jammer B back there or some really tall dude with blue ears. Not sure.
I decided that we'd all wear glasses today, so I'm wearing mine are progressive.
Yes.
Jeff's also here.
I'm progressive in all ways.
Yeah, always progressive. He is the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Hello.
So, Ant, just give it a now. Get progressive lenses. Get a CPAP machine. Get something to shave the hair in your ear and nose.
I have
just
that
welcome
part.
to Oldie.
I got one word, Ant. Depends.
No, I have two. It depends.
It depends.
Not just
It's
depends.
better, yes. It all depends. What else is going on? Samsung bought an app called Whisk. Cool Whip. Whisk.
Family Guy.
Whisk. It's a popular meal planning and recipe app, and they rebranded it to the very clever, I think very innovative name, Samsung Food.
Because you think of
food.
Samsung, you think delicious.
You think
With a name like Samsung, it's got to be good.
Whisk is cross-platform, iOS and Android, but I don't know if it will stay that way. Announced today.
It's interesting that it's a content play. Right? Google
Yeah.
bought What was the rest? What was that? The restaurant thing where everybody rates the restaurants that you use.
Don't make me cry, Zagat. Oh, I'm so sad.
Right.
they
So
bought
Google
Zagat.
had that for a while. That didn't
and
work out so
destroyed
well.
it, as Google does with everything. Google ruins everything it touches.
Is it dead, Zagat?
Well, okay, first of all, Zagat, which was started in New York City by some entrepreneurs, the idea was we're going to ask the people who eat at these restaurants what they think and rate it on a weird scale, 1 to 30. And then they would rate the food, the decor, the service, and the price. Mm-hmm. And it was these little red guides. They were tall and thin, and they were fantastic. Every city eventually had one. Lisa and I relied on them. Then they made an app. And it was the only way to really... The only problem with Zagat was because it was local diners rating it. If you were in a town, I won't name names because it'll make you feel bad in Indianapolis, and they said that this was a 27 restaurant, it would be a 15 in San Francisco.
Right.
But that's, you got to understand, it's a sliding scale. So Google bought it. I was just thinking, please don't ruin it. They did it. I mean, basically, they sort of incorporated the content into Google Business, but didn't really. And
well, you said that Google came in and made it a problem. Would the problem not be the competition, such as Yelp?
Well, that's why Google bought it.
That's
I
what
think,
Google's
is they
trying to
wanted
go
to
after.
compete with Yelp. But now,
Yelp was very unfriendly to Google, and that was part of it. And you're right.
Here, let's look at the review for Pete's Henny Penny restaurant.
Well, look where Zagat is
That's
now.
around the corner, right?
Where is Zagat now?
So this is going to make you sad. Search Google Zagat. See what comes
The
up.
word Zagat?
Okie dokie.
Zagat. Did you know the Zagat guys?
Yeah. So it's now Chase.
Chase?
It got sold to a company that got bought by Chase, and now it's sitting there making no sense at all.
Oh.
So not only
When I
did
think
Google...
Chase, I think delicious.
Oh.
That's like Samsung Food.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Zagat Stories featuring personal interviews in dining and hospitality.
What the heck is that?
Brought to you by Chase. Was Chase JP Morgan's
Yeah, I think so.
company? Yeah.
So it's just all things about what makes no sense. It's go scroll down and it's credit cards and mortgages. What does Zagat do there?
That makes no
In
sense.
2021, restaurant discovery platform The Infatuation
Which had bought Zagat from Google.
was acquired by JP Morgan and Chase to accelerate the firm's investment in dining and further demonstrates JP Morgan's Chase commitment to meeting customers where they are. Hi, Aunt.
Hello, sir.
Nice to meet you where you are.
Yeah.
With exceptional benefits, useful content, and one-of-a-kind experiences at scale. This is written by
and
some
where's the content?
business nitwit.
Oh, boy.
The Infatuation's entire business, including Zagat, is now a wholly owned subsidiary of JP Morgan Chase.
And it's dead.
It's like an episode of Billions. This is terrible.
This is horrible.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I didn't realize that Google had sold it off. So, in true Google fashion, they bought it, killed it, and sold it for nut pennies, right?
Well,
Yeah.
but fortunately, their maps, the
They have
feature side of
reviews.
maps is really good. I rely on that more than
Do you
anything.
trust the reviews?
Yeah.
So this is
Especially considering the people respond in that.
this is the
fairly-
worst
Yeah, I
restaurant in
do too.
Petaluma, Pete's Henny Penny. Have you been there?
I've not been there yet. It's around
Actually, the
corner
worst
from
one
here,
is
right?
the one that we brought you to on Christmas, Jeff. The
That was
Wash.
bad.
Oh,
the
that
Washoe
one down the
House.
street? Yeah.
You know what? Let's
Are you going
search.
to get sued?
No, I can say something's bad. Why would they sue me? Actually, they might these
I
days.
don't know.
Let's just see. The Washoe House is actually worse than Pete's Henny Penny.
I've not eaten there. and I'm so
4.4
glad.
stars. Let's
Okay,
just
well,
let's
yeah.
just look at the reviews. Historic building, the staff are very nice. A variety of choices on their menu.
Bad and worse.
Price per person $100 plus. So we didn't go
No,
cheap.
you're kidding me. For that?
A great meal and a down-to-earth atmosphere. Dust don't order the peas; they're canned.
That's down home.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look at this. Being from the South, I was happier than two hogs at feeding time.
Oh, no.
Seriously, though, I will be a regular and highly recommend it if you want some good food and country atmosphere.
It was like going to the worst church basement dinner.
It really was horrible. Plastic tablecloths
Yeah,
and
it
all.
was.
I feel so bad.
Overheated pasta. No, it was funny. That was a great thing about it. It became hilarious. Lisa is just hanging her head.
I'm so glad I just
it was
drive
hilarious.
by that place every week pretty regularly. I never have the
Pull up the menu,
inkling
Leo.
to stop there. Something just tells me keep driving.
No, your instinct is right, Ant. You know.
It was really terrible.
It was
Let me see if
funny.
I can find
Oh,
the
it was
pictures
hilarious.
from our Christmas party. It was sad because we invited everybody out and we thought, it'll be really fun if we do it at a restaurant that's kind of an old. This thing was around. It was on the old wagon, the Pony Express trail.
That's about when they cook the pasta.
Yeah, so bad, soggy, and
Wow.
the only thing
Lisa's not
to
taking the
recommend.
insult at this.
Here they are. And the sad thing is we invited everybody. There's Steve Gibson, Sarah
everybody.
Lane, Renee Ritchie, Alex Lindsay, Mike Elgin, and Amira, Scott Wilkinson. We invited
Wow, that's the whole squad.
everybody to this. Look at the plastic
and the
tablecloths.
decorations are so festive.
Dude, this looks like somebody's.
It was like
Oh, wow.
It was like dinner in an old folks' home.
It definitely looks like an old
Look at the
Southern
meal.
Baptist
Look at
church
that meal.
basement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see if you can focus in
that.
on some of the food here.
Look at that. I'm glad that they
Fried
just gave me
shrimp,
with my fried
cocktail
shrimp
sauce.
a plastic container of cocktail sauce. Oh, it was so awful. Oops, we've gone past it. But that was our Christmas
hilarious.
dinner one year.
That picture, go back to that other picture.
2014.
One more. It's like, are you sure you want to eat that?
Eat that.
I don't know.
And notice Alex Lindsay does not have a plate in front of him. He's trying to talk Scott out of don't eat this. What is his vegetable thing? Everything was so
funny.
soggy.
Maybe it's gotten better since 10 years ago.
It might well have.
Because that was 2014. I believe that's what it said. Right?
Yeah,
It's been a long
2014, December 29th, 2014.
Ooh-wee.
What's the menu look like now? Maybe it's a different menu.
No, I'm not going to spend any more time in the Washoe
All right,
house. We're done.
But no, I like the review options inside of Google Maps, and I've been using it for I don't know how long. So I'm one of those local guides people. They're always
So get
messaging
ready.
me.
Yeah, I know you know this because this was a conversation in our Slack. Notice what happens when you go to maps.google.com. Now, when you do it, your browser's going to say, do you want to give Maps access to your location, right? Because you can't use Maps without it. But look at the URL I just entered, and it has been reformatted to google.com/maps. You might say, well, what's the big? Well, the concern of many people is now, instead of giving permission to Maps, you're giving permission to all of Google to know where your location is.
Not good.
Really?
Yeah. It's a sneaky way of getting you to agree to location permissions for all of Google.
Yeah, it's under
Not
one
in a
directory.
granular way. Now, I do. In fact, I have the location turned on so I can go to my Google
Yeah, I, for one, welcome my
travel
email.
history. Yes, I welcome my Snoopy overlords. But I think there are a lot of people who would say, well, no, I want this. I like this granular. I don't want Google to know everywhere I've been. I can actually go to my Google Maps timeline
I love that.
and see it. Yeah. Now, location history is on. I wonder if Google's gotten in trouble. Remember, Google just got fined for pretending that incognito mode was private.
Slap on the wrist. Yep.
Yeah. Location history is on, and it shows all the devices on this account. I guess, I don't know. I'm not sure this is.
I have mine turned on for my device, but when I go into the browser
You don't want the
is
desktop
off.
to know where you are.
Right.
And why is that useful? Well, because Google sells against it. Right? It's good for advertising. Of all the things, the demographic stuff advertisers can learn about, location is the first one they want to know. Because if they're a car dealer and you're in LA and they're in San Francisco, they don't want to spend money advertising to you.
Right.
So location, they'd love to know income, economic.
Or if you're a beer lover and you're in the middle
They'd
of...
love to know the topic style stuff as well. But they got to start with location. So it makes sense that Google might do something like this. What do you do about it? I don't know. If you turn it on, don't use Maps on your desktop, I guess.
If you do, just know that it's not going to start at your home location. It's just going to start at the global position, and you have to zoom in on your own, which is
really frustrating.
Really, really frustrating for some people. It ain't that hard. It's just a map.
You, Jeff,
I like convenience.
when you were in studio a few weeks ago, I should have brought him to the washout house. Shoot.
Oh, shoot. We
think
should have
of
done
that.
that. For old time's
For
sake.
old time's sake. Now they're saying this change happened in December. But I was not aware of it until more recently, I guess.
Right. Same.
Well, I'm going to my settings on Google Maps. I'm trying to see where's the privacy settings. If I wanted to change it, how would I? Well, I don't know.
I think you have to change it on your Google account. So this was from the Daring Fireball last year. Garrett Franke wrote to John Gruber, yesterday I was asked to allow the usage of location services for Google Maps, seemingly out of nowhere. Of course, I accepted. After all, I wanted to, look at maps. But I noticed that maps.google.com redirects to google.com/maps. So maybe he got it early, and it's now spreading to others.
My history kind of makes me sad because I don't go anywhere anymore. Those were the days.
So is Notebook LM, that's still in the labs, right?
Still in labs, but they said it's going to come out this fall.
This was I thought the most useful thing I'd seen with Google AI, which is the ability to give it a bunch of documents and have it summarize it. You could ask questions of the AI about those documents. Google's Bing chat-like form of AI, which is Duet, is now available in Gmail, Docs, and more if you are a Google Workspace user. You are.
If you are a Google Workspace enterprise user. So once again, I'm cut out. I'm in, but I'm out.
Well, I don't think you'd pay $30 a month for it, or maybe you would. That seems.
I would try it for 1 month.
Yeah.
Would you pay $30?
No, but so we were talking about this on Windows Weekly because completely coincidentally, that's what Microsoft charges for enterprise chat, enterprise AI, and Bing.
Why not?
Surprise me.
Well, $30. It must be the price.
Why not? They'll pay it.
And we were talking about it, and that does seem steep, doesn't it? I mean, I wouldn't.
It does.
We wouldn't buy it for everybody in the studio. But then I was thinking, well, for instance, we are going to start using Anthropic's AI. I talked about this earlier, called Claude, to do show notes, and it's actually pretty impressive.
pretty good.
I talked about it last week.
I just told that story to Hiawatha Bray at the Boston Globe today. I talked to him about AI and journalism, and I told the story of you and Claude. Sounds like, a drinking buddy of yours.
Right.
And, Claude and I went into the
Claude.
and how you were dubious, but it really works well with the right prompting.
Anthony, are any of the show notes yet enabled with Claude on the website? Because I would like to show you what it does. It's really kind of amazing.
I believe today's Floss Weekly has
Claude show
has
notes?
the bullets from Claude.
Because one of the things Claude
think.
does is emoji bullets, which is hysterical. Let's just see.
Yeah.
It has bullets, but I don't know if Claude doesn't have emojis.
No emojis, but
These were
I believe
emojis.
those were pulled in from AI with Mr. Ashley today.
In any event,
And they're good.
Detailed.
they're good.
spot
They're
on.
good show notes, and better than probably anybody but like a full-time staffer who's really listening to the show and
Right.
taking, like a secretary would do.
Producer, Leo, a producer.
No, I mean, no, I don't mean, no, you know how like you have in an organization, you have a treasurer, you have the president, and then you have the secretary
try
who
to
takes
dig yourself
notes of
out
the
of that hole.
meetings,
Yeah,
right?
fine.
Taking the minutes.
The minutes. What do you call that? That's the secretary, right?
Stenographer?
I don't mean like Stacy's not even here anymore, and you guys are beating me up still. The secretary.
No,
so
I
the
get it.
minutes.
Jason's a producer, not a secretary.
Yeah, but it's somebody taking the minutes of the show. But it's hard for a producer to do that because he's got
Right.
a lot of other things going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Jason does do it. But that's the thing. If you can get an AI to take... So what we've been doing is taking the show, getting Whisper AI to do a transcription of the show. It does a very credible transcription. And then take the transcription, feed it to Claude. Hello, Claude. Eat this. And then... Claude poops out the show notes, and if you give it the right prompt, and that's the key, and Anthony's really a master of that.
Yeah.
It actually did I was very impressed.
So is
with
Anthony around?
No,
He's busy.
not responding.
He's busy.
He's busy. Okay.
But-
so I'm curious about this. What I talked about with Hiawatha Bray was the idea that you would take, let's say, the transcript of a school board meeting.
Yeah. Instead of writing
You
it.
think it would do a good job of that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I do think so. I mean, we know that they've been using AI to do sports stories for years, right? And finance. Because that's just kind of the numbers.
Just give me the facts.
But my point was, if that replaces a human being for $30 a month, or, at least half the attention of a producer, very much worth it.
Yep.
That's a deal. Mm-hmm. If it does a good job. And so I think $30 a month.
If it's enough of a pain in the ass off the producer's desk, they might pay for it.
Well, the thing is, though, what's unfortunate is people are going to say that's AI taking someone else's job. And I think we should reiterate the fact that, it's taking that task away from the producer, but it's also freeing up the producer to do some things that could be a little more creative.
Well, and we don't have somebody taking notes like minutes, like a secretary would do. So it's just something that wasn't getting done. And so now, it doesn't mean the producer loses their job by any means. There's plenty of other things to do.
Plenty.
Google's new AI Duet will also be able to take notes during meetings. In fact,
this is the good part.
It can take your place.
Yeah. Faculty meetings, never again.
I'm going to send
Talk
Claude.
to the machine.
My French friend Claude will be here listening. So here's an example. This is from Google's blog. You type "take notes for me" in this Google Meet meeting. Summary so far: the symbol coffee cup.
They're still fighting about the refrigerator. They want you to take all your food out of the refrigerator.
I think this is a good use for it. Action items.
Yeah.
Better if you're there and then you have this as a reminder, because this is always the case with AI. First of all, I think we now agree. I've seen a number of articles saying this. You can't fix stupid.
No, you can't.
And you can't fix hallucinations. That AI will not stop hallucinating. That is part of AI.
That's part of its learning process, right?
It's not.
Not even no. It's just it doesn't have any understanding of words or concepts.
Some things. Okay.
So it's just making predictions of words.
And of course, OpenAI and others say, "Oh no, we can fix that." They've yet to do so. So if you can, I wonder what's holding you up. I've seen others say, "You know what? This is a function of a large language model because it doesn't understand. It doesn't understand the context or the content even. So it's going to just stuff. It will say things that aren't right, and it's not designed not to. So anyway, that's why I think it's human assisted AI is going to always be, at least for a while.
And I'm fine with that.
It's like, maybe it's like self-driving vehicles. At some point, you trust it and it's going to do it. Mm-hmm. I guess if you're riding in a Waymo or Cruise, you must. But in my car, I'm going to keep my hands on the wheel.
Right.
And it does it right 90% of the time, which is good. But it doesn't take the place of a driver yet.
Unless you get killed by the 10%, but that's another matter.
And there are a few lawsuits. Tesla's kind of in trouble with the full self-driving, a number of lawsuits now. All right. That's it. That's the show. Nothing else. Chuck Schumer is gonna get to the bottom of this.
Oh boy.
Chuck Schumer says he's going to host an AI forum with Musk and Zuckerberg. I wonder if there'll be a cage match at the end.
Oh gosh.
It's the first of Schumer's AI Insight forums. He wants to regulate. He's the Senate Majority Leader. He wants to regulate AI.
But I'm glad that he's doing forums, educational forums, instead of hearings. I think that's a good move.
Right.
But he shouldn't start with these boys. He should start with backgrounders, with the academics, like the authors of Stochastic Parrots.
I completely agree. These are the wrong
would
people.
Give them the background and truly teach them, so when the big boys come in, they know what to ask.
Because the big boys are the salespeople for this crap.
Yeah.
So did they mention this in this Washington Post story? Because who can let our leadership know they need to go reach out to these?
Write a letter to Chuck Schumer.
And I tweeted it to Chuck Schumer. I'm sure he's
blocked.
He's following you on X.
You know he's blocked you. Come on.
The guest list for the first forum.
I'm sure he watches this podcast. Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Chuck.
Good to see you, Chuck.
Actually, I like Chuck Schumer. I think he's I don't know, he's your senator, so you might have. Oh, no, you're New Jersey.
Well, no, he's New York.
New York,
right? Yeah.
but he's kind of mine. I pay the taxes to him.
Yeah.
Over there.
I feel like he's a good guy. I don't know him, but he seems
he's hilarious
fairly...
because every weekend you could be assured that press conference Chuck was going to do a press conference because he wanted to get on TV.
Well, yeah.
Less so now that he's
kind of the job,
the boss.
Isn't it? Yeah.
He did it constantly, every weekend. It didn't matter. He had to find a subject for a press conference.
Let's talk about sewage treatment plants. So AI Insight Forums, first one is September 13th. Listen to the guest list. Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google. Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia. Former Google CEO Eric Schmidt. Why not? Just throw in Eric.
Oh, wow.
I like Eric. Nice guy. He probably knows what's going on. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. Schumer last June said these are the first of their kind events.
Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk too, right?
Yeah, you know what's weird? Yes. So this post article is confusing. I don't know if the first one Altman, Musk, and Zuckerberg will be at. It sounds like the first one is Pichai,
I see.
Huang, Schmidt, Nadella. So maybe later Musk, Zuckerberg,
it's the
and
legacy
Sam
companies of a sort.
But I completely agree with you that the people you want to talk to are not the ones selling it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk to the people who are cautioning if you want to regulate it.
And there's scholars and women and people of color who have different perspectives, who've been studying this, who have research. They should be there and truly treat it as an educational opportunity. And I would, if I were a senator in that meeting, I'd say, okay, what should I ask Sam Altman? And they'll be told what they should ask them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, I missed this story. Maybe this explains the Maps thing. Google to begin selling Maps data to companies building solar products.
Oh.
Hopes to generate $100 million in the first year.
Oh.
Oh, no, this is mapping APIs. It's not your information. It's just the mapping APIs.
No. But I didn't know. I hadn't used Google Project Sunroof.
Oh, I had. We talked about this when this...
we did talk about
this
that,
was years ago.
So this is kind of an extension. Yeah, it is.
Sunroof.
It's an extension of that now.
You would go to your address. I think you still can. Yes, sunroof.
Yes, you can.
.withgoogle.com. Let's go to our address, 1351 Redwood Way, Petaluma. That's the Twit Studios. Check my roof. If I were to put solar panels, because we get
it thinks your average monthly electric bill is now $90.
Well, no, it asks what it should be. That's
keep going.
I can't go higher than
keep
500.
Going. 500 ain't enough.
Yeah. Because we get so much sunlight here, I would save $108,000 a year.
Over 20 years.
Oh, over 20 years.
Oh.
But still, nothing to sneeze at.
We'd have to put in...
You're still going to be doing this in 20 years, Leo. I hate to tell you.
Here's the other catch. They don't take into account our electric company, PG&E. If you were just to put it in and just not hook it up to the grid, you could do anything you want, I presume. But if you want to hook it up to PG&E, they will not let you put in more panels. They will not let you generate excess electricity. They will only let you put in the number of panels that you will use.
Oh.
Because they don't want you competing with them.
They don't want the charge back? I mean, they don't
they don't want to compete with you.
Okay.
Their business is building power plants. They don't want to every Tom, Dick,
and setting fires.
And setting fires. They didn't want every Tom, Dick, and Ant to build a power plant in their backyard. So maybe I could put in 43,000 square feet of solar panels. By the way, how much would that cost?
Man.
But I don't think they would let me do that.
So an old colleague of mine named Fred Bernstein wrote a piece, I think it was in the Wall Street Journal, about finally the Musk solar panels that look like shingles.
Yeah.
It cost like $80,000 to put on a house, but they do look good.
They look like a roof.
Yeah, they look like a roof.
Can you get them now?
I believe Marquez Brownlee just did that.
Of course he did.
And it looked...
And I'm sure he paid full price for every one of those shingles.
Right, and it looked great. It didn't even look like solar. I think it was him.
It doesn't look like solar.
Got it. 78,000. Hold on, I'll put it in the... where do you want it? I'll put it in Discord.
Here's Marquez's
that's where the good things happen.
Review. Yeah. Let me turn off the sound. It does. They look Tesla. Good. They do look good. They do look good.
Where is he based now, Marquez?
No idea.
He's still in New Jersey.
Yeah, he's in New Jersey because he just won the ultimate. His team just won the ultimate championships. He had great pictures.
So
of
in
his
the
roof, but not
you get
anymore.
good pictures in the Discord I put in.
Oh, look, I get $200 off with the code MKBHD. Oh, no, that's the 8 Sleep. Which is kind of a solar roof for your bed, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Where do I have to go in the show notes?
Go to the Discord.
No, Discord live chat.
Discord. I can't.
Wait a minute.
I'll put it in the Twitch chat. No problem. I can put it everywhere.
There it is.
in the
It's
Twitch
in
chat.
IRC. Come on, this is easy in Linux.
He's so
Inside the
tired.
slow yet incredible installation of a 78,000. Actually, that sounds like a lot, but solar is very, very expensive. I think ours probably. I don't know. I don't want to know, but I think
That looks nice. It's the entire roof is.
Yeah, you can't tell it's solar though. You know,
That was the thing. It didn't look like a solar roof at his place.
right? But it kind of looks like it's glassy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It was pretty cool.
that's not bad.
If you scroll down, there's another picture. There you go. That one.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd take it.
I feel like we're probably going to make progress in this category. Yes. Like, is this going to be the last greatest solar roof, or will there be great new stuff coming?
Another 10 years. It's going to
But I
take.
think the solar now is pretty ugly.
So
These big black
a
boxes.
new roof would have cost her $58,000. So by adding $20,000, she was able to get a solar roof, which is a good deal.
That's a good deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She
So what
may have gotten a bargain, says the Journal. Early adopters got a great price point. It is now more like $150,000 to $250,000. Never mind.
Good grief.
Boy, is that
Never
Musk
mind.
for
Okay.
you?
Yeah, that is Musk, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have our roof is a Tesla. Solar. It was Solar City, but it's now Tesla roof, and we have Tesla power walls, the batteries you charge up. And actually, living here, where they turn off the power to prevent the fires,
Yeah.
that's a good thing to have.
Power
It'll
wall would be
fail
cool
over
to
and the
have
power
for sure.
continues. Yeah, yeah.
Which they should have done in Hawaii.
It's very sad. All right, let's take a little break. When we come back, why is Silicon Valley buying up land in Solano County, just a little bit over from here?
I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. But first, a word from our sponsor. Our show today brought to you by Mylio. I love this Mylio. Oh, have you used this yet? You're a photographer. So Google killed me because they bought Picasa, which was the greatest free app. Actually, I guess it wasn't free. I don't know. It wasn't expensive. And I used it to organize all my photos. I had folders. I had tags, everything. Google buys it just like Zagat. Killed it, basically. They said, oh, no, we're going to incorporate it all in Google Photos. So then I upload everything to Google Photos, and it's, it's supposed to do the face recognition and all that. But I'm thinking all the time, they're getting all sorts of information out of my photos. I have found a way to organize my photos, a digital asset management system. That's the technical term for that. That is better than Picasso ever was and does not store my photos in the cloud. And it's called Mylio, Mylio. I also, another reason I wanted a digital asset management solution is because I was using Lightroom and Adobe's Lightroom. And I said, I want to pay this every month for Lightroom. And plus, they're trying to get me to put it in the Adobe cloud. Again, same thing. I don't want to be in the cloud. I want to have my own thing. Mylio solves that as well. Now, here's the cool thing. It's so smart, it actually does everything Google Photos does and then some. It does everything Lightroom did and then some. I can do a lot of basic editing, but I can also open it up, this photo in any of my image editors just with one step right from Mylio. And it's not just photos. You can say, I wanted you to keep track of my documents folder. It'll automatically import Word documents, PDFs. It has optical character recognition built in, so it'll turn photos with text, even PDFs with text, into text. It automatically organizes it. I spent so much time in Picasa, typing in folder names and tags and stuff. Mylio does it all automatically on site. It doesn't upload it. So I can do what I want to do for backup. I have it backing up to my Synology NAS. I have all of that. There's a Mylio for Synology, but actually I just have backup the Mylio folder. So everything's protected. And here's the best part. It will import your photos from other systems. So I have it automatically keeping track of all my Flickr. Anytime I upload to Flickr, it's in Mylio. And I knew I had a lot of photos in Google Photos that I hadn't anywhere else. I did a Google takeout, 200,000 photos. It imported it without me doing anything. It just opened those files, imported them, it tagged them, and then it deduped them. It has a great deduplication feature, so you have no duplicates. I have literally 200,000 photos in my MyLeo Photos folder. I've heard of people with more than 1 million, and it doesn't slow down. It's brilliant. Smart tags make it all searchable. This all happens automatically. You pick, I have you, Ant, as one of the faces. So I tagged you in a couple of pictures, and then it found all the other Ant photos in all of my other photos. Same with my family, my kids. But it does even more than that. Specific objects like swimming pools or activities, animals. I can say, give me all my blue photos. Photographers would love these. All my plant photos, smart tags, and you can stack them. So I say, I want all my dog pictures that have blue as a predominant color. So cool. And I could have them all in one library, the MyLeo Library Plus. It works on iOS, it works on Android, Mac, and Windows. And I have MyLeo Plus, so it's on all of those. And I can say on each platform, do I want the thumbnails? Do I want the optimized versions, or do I want the original versions? So on devices with lots of storage, I keep the original versions, but on my phone's thumbnails. And when I open MyLeo on my iPhone and say, hey, I like that image, I want to edit it, it will download the full quality version from my Mac at home or wherever it is automatically, keeps the original intact, updates it. So I have both. And with the MyLeo Photos Plus subscription, all my devices in connect with one library. No cloud storage. I have all my photos everywhere. Dude, everywhere.
Mr. Sargent was telling me about pulling it from other sources such as Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I took all my Instagram images.
Huge, because those are in a different format, and you can use those for other sources somewhere else.
Click, it imported
wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I can pull my Instagram stuff in?
Oh, yeah.
Because all that's
not just pull it in, but keep pulling it in.
Right.
So now you don't even have to think anymore. You say, I want to put that on Instagram, and that's fine, but it's still in your MyLeo library.
Right.
It'll download it.
So cool.
This is the way to preserve your most valuable documents, photos, PDFs, your digital legacy, and keep track of it all and find it when you need it. Go to MyLeo Photos and get your... Oh, I left out the best part. It's free. Yes, it's free. MyLeo Photos is free, so you can see right now what it'll do on your computer or mobile device. Go to mylio.com/twit. mylio.com/twit. I didn't, I knew about it. I knew it was out there. And then until I sat down and really started playing with it, I didn't realize all the things it can do. And they keep adding new features. In fact, download MyLeo Photos for free. Get started now. And this is something, it's been around for about 8 or 9 years, but it's an active development, which means it keeps getting better and better and better. mylio.com. mylio.com/twit. Please give it a try. I am so excited about this. As you know, I've been looking for a damn solution ever since I decided I don't want to use Lightroom anymore, and I've tried them all. This is the one.
Pretty daggum smart. You wanted to talk about this property that's been bought up.
Thank you for reminding me.
The old guy forgets.
Couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I started seeing articles. Who is buying up land around Travis Air Force Base and why? And there was speculation. Is this some nation state? Is it China?
How far away is that from you?
It's about an hour. It's an hour east of us. Solano County.
It's up 80.
So it's where Vacaville is.
Yeah.
It's nearby. We go through it every time we're going to Tahoe. You go through it. It's nearby. So, Travis Air Force Base is an important strategic asset in the U.S. arsenal. So there was some concern. There's something going on. Now, once those stories started coming out, Flannery Associates came forward. Who is Flannery Associates? They've been buying up large plots of land in Solano County. They've committed more than $800 million. They were buying it at a good price until people figured out that somebody's buying up all the land and the price is now skyrocketed. They're still paying for it. One parcel after another. Flannery, this is from the New York Times, made offers to every landowner for miles, paying several times the market rate, whether the land had been listed for sale or not. Now, here's a picture, just to give you an idea of what they're buying. It's just brown hills.
Yeah, there's nothing
cattle
out there.
Country, nothing.
Nothing out there.
But these cattle farmers are saying, yeah, I'll take this. So what was going on? Was Disney planning a theme park? Was China? What was going on? Turns out it was the brainchild of a former Goldman Sachs trader who said, I got an idea. And he went around to Mike Moritz, who's a big venture capitalist, Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn, Netscape's, and now what is it? What's his company?
Andreessen
Horowitz, venture capitalist, Mark Andreessen, Facebook founder Chris Dixon, and they have pumped hundreds of millions of dollars into this. Why? Why are they buying this land up? Bill Gates is the biggest landowner in the United States, but that's for agricultural reasons. He's investing in ag, in food. No, they want to build the city of the future.
And also get some money back.
It's Google Island.
It's Google.
Remember Google Island?
It's funny you should say that's exactly what I likened it to on Sunday on Twit.
We wanted to move on to Google Island.
I would. You know what?
Sounded pretty nice.
That's why I've been following this story, because I want to move there too. I want to move this place. It's Laureen Powell Jobs, Steve Jobs' widow. Patrick and John Collison, the founders of Stripe. Daniel Gross, Nat Friedman. So lots of money from the biggest money.
If Thiel buys in, I'm out.
No, but that's what's interesting. If Laureen Powell Jobs is in it, I'm guessing
that's what.
Because Thiel wanted to do seasteading, right? He was buying up old oil platforms because he had the same idea. This is the thing. Silicon Valley has this fantasy that, we're smart. We're better than government. We should be running things. And I think that they really think they could make a better city. So they want to make a walkable city. The problem is there's only one 2-lane freeway that goes into this
it's
area.
the middle of nowhere.
It's nowhere. It's also a problem. It's the Bay Area. The rents are ridiculous. Housing prices out of the control.
And water is going to be a huge problem there.
Yep.
Well, they must have a plan. I don't know. They bought so much land so fast it spooked locals who had no idea who the buyer was. The mayor of Fairfield started posting about the project on Facebook several years ago. I think what happened is people started looking, and Flannery said, we better go public. So they did a press release.
Well, and Flannery is run by this kid, right? He's like 32 years old.
36, yeah.
Oh.
Well, he was 32 when he started.
I get the idea. I just don't like the exclusivity that seems to be tied to this. This isn't going to be a place where anybody can.
Well, the first thing they have to do is change the zoning because it's zoned agricultural, not residential. But they think they can do, because California has this state initiative system. It's pretty easy to get something on the ballot. You just need a few signatures. So they think they can get an initiative that will get this rezoned. The hope is voters will be enticed by the promise of thousands of local jobs, increased tax revenue, investments in infrastructure like parks, a performing arts center, shopping, dining, a trade school.
Again, Flannery is doing this to make their money.
Well, yeah.
It's not to build a city.
The return could be many times the initial investment just from rezoning. Far more when they start building, says the New York Times. Moritz sent an email arguing this effort should relieve some of the Silicon Valley pressures we all feel, rising home prices, homelessness, congestion, etc. They've bought thousands of acres. So it'll be interesting to see if this ever gets off the ground. I mean, these people are so rich that committing $100 million is like, well, okay, we'll see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's worth it.
If Saudi Arabia could do its ridiculous thing, they can.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia is building that flat city, the thin city. That's a wild idea.
What?
Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, it's
a flat city.
wacky.
Well,
it's just a horizontal line.
Like a thin wall. Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Gnome, or what's it called?
The Line.
The Line.
A revolution in urban living. I'm sure this is the inspiration for Flannery.
Because I believe we talked about that during one of our book club meetings.
Yeah.
Am I right, Mr. JLB?
Yeah, we've talked about this because, there's Michio Kaku going, string theory.
Oh, man, don't be used by...
string theory. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe just, is it Michio Kaku? It kind of looks like him.
I think so.
I don't know. Somebody who looks like Michio Kaku. The idea is this is in the desert, and it's got a train that goes from one end to the other. It's just a big, long line of mirrored glass, Everything is within walking distance. You have a bunch of neighborhoods in here.
This sort of reminds
They're building
me,
it. You can see it on Google Maps.
It's not on the same scale as what's happening up there in Solano County or what have you, but I think it's called Lakewood Ranch in Florida, which is near Sarasota, Florida. And you all know Sarasota is like one of the retirement capitals of the U.S.
All of Florida, yeah.
And that little town, I don't know how many years ago, but it's been a little while. They basically band together to build that town up into what it is now, build Lakewood Ranch. And it was sort of weird back then seeing this new town that just sort of never existed. All of a sudden it exists now, and it's just people investing money the way these guys did.
This is what we had when Doug Rushkoff was on, talking about the escape fantasies of the rich and famous. Remember he wrote that book? There's something about when you get that rich.
Mick Jagger.
What's he
is
doing?
There. Peter Frampton is there in Lakewood Ranch, Florida.
Oh,
yeah, it's nice.
Oh, it's not Celebration. It's not like some Disney thing.
No, it's literally the neighbor to the retirement city of Sarasota, and it's nice. It is a nice little town.
Huh. I'm not against planned communities. I think it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
But HOAs, man, are evil.
Yes, they are. To an extent, they are, but yeah.
My sister's trying to just put a gate onto her back wall that the dog can see out, and oh my Lord,
Yeah, that's not up to
they're
code.
making it awful.
Need a permit.
Really? Really?
Oh, everything.
Yeah, everything in your yard is not yours, apparently, when it comes to
HOAs.
When we looked for our house here, we looked at a house that we didn't think was part of an HOA.
Right.
And then they said it was. You can't put up a flagpole. Not that we ever would, but what do you mean we can't put up a flagpole?
Yeah.
How dare you tell me I can't do
The
that?
last place we rented back in Carolina, my flag was an issue, and
Oh, really?
oh yeah, because I fly Clemson flag during football season, and then
It's pretty orange.
yeah, and Queen Pruitt will put up another flag after the season is over with, and
What's her flag?
she just gets seasonal things.
I was going to say, I
You
bet
know.
that's seasons.
Yeah, it's
like,
all
here's my
seasonal
Easter
stuff.
flag or
Right.
my Halloween flag.
Mine was that big orange flag, and
How big is it?
they asked me about it once.
Is it
That's
100
all I'll
square
say.
feet?
No.
Like giant flag, Clemson flag.
Hey, it's football season.
So
baby.
what happened? They asked you once, and then what'd you say?
I'm not going to say what I said on the air.
Said,
All I can tell you is they asked
You're
me
not going
once.
to want to ask me again.
They didn't ask me anymore. I didn't care.
so there is no HOA,
There was an HOA.
and they still
yeah,
said,
and I got the letter
"Don't
and
ask
everything.
him, he's scary."
Yeah, they didn't come back. Just over
Sick fin on him.
over a dadgum flag. Really? A flag? Come on.
I wish I had video of that encounter.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we need to have a camera on Ant all the time so we can catch these moments.
I'm polite. I'm just.
If it had
I
been
don't
an
doubt it,
American,
Kurt.
if it had been an American flag, would they have been all right? Was it Clemson that bothered them?
I don't know because. Yeah,
Why
I
does
guess
it even
wouldn't have
bother
been
them? Does it
all
make a big loud flapping sound, or do you
It's
hear
all,
clanking from the
HOAs
yard?
are all about uniformity in the area.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
bull crap. No, I don't want my house to look like your house. You know.
Well, my house is pretty nice. You might want it.
Yeah, well, yeah, yours is quite nice. Sans peacocks.
Oh, we had a big controversy because Bob the peacock. Lisa named our peacock Bob. Bob, which I wanted to call it Jeff and Ant because there's two of them. But anyway, Bob came and doesn't have his tail feathers. You know how peacocks are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they lose them all at the end of mating season. It's all for show.
Right.
And then,
Well, it's all
'cause it gets
for
in the
sex.
way. Yeah, it gets in the way, frankly.
Doesn't help with flying.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of drag.
Yeah.
With
So,
flying.
they've just all fallen out. We got one. It's cool. Big. It's like-
Oh, that's cool.
You can
Yeah, they're
keep
beautiful.
that.
So this is really more of a financial story, but I just thought it was interesting. The thing now to do if you're a tech giant is to buy your stock back, right? If you've got a pile of cash, and some of these guys really do, like Apple, one of the things you do is instead of giving it back to the investors or investing it in new products, you buy your own stock. And now investors do benefit from that because now their stock is worth more because you reabsorb that, so there are fewer outstanding shares. It artificially props up your stock price. So this companies love that because it looks like your stock is gaining value. There are 4 companies in tech that have plowed $1 trillion into stock buybacks over the last 10 years.
Wow.
Apple's the biggest.
trillion?
Out of the trillion, Apple has spent $600 billion buying back its own shares.
And how much cash does it still have?
Well, less. Before repatriation, I think they were almost up to $200 billion in cash. And then under Trump, remember they said, okay, we're going to give you a reduced tax bill for bringing that money back in because it was all in Ireland. They were stashing it in Ireland. And the problem is you can't bring it in and spend it on American stuff, so you have to spend it in the EU or something like that. Anyway, they got it back for a reduced tax bill. But the funny thing is they didn't use that cash to buy the stock back. They borrow against it.
Yeah, because it was so cheap.
Money was free, basically.
Wow.
So they wouldn't even spend their cash. They would just borrow against it. Apple has spent $621 billion since the last decade. Google, second, it's bought a lot back too, $193 billion.
Wow.
Microsoft and Meta, $180 billion and $130 billion, respectively. So
Google has cash on hand after all that of $118 billion.
Yeah.
Apple has $62 billion.
That's amazing.
I don't
Just
know.
cash.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it artificially inflates your stock
There's
price.
much debate.
Yeah, Warren Buffett says it's a good thing. He's a big fan of buybacks. He says it's good for stockholders. That's true. It's good for stock sellers. That's true. Safer than acquisitions. Unfortunately, that's probably also true, especially in this day and age. More efficient than
I would like to
dividends.
see innovation and development R&D, but
Right.
Google creates things and then just kills it.
I don't see buybacks from smaller companies, though, right? It's usually just the big boys, if you will.
I think you have to have a lot of cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of cash, Nvidia, whoo, baby.
Man, they've been on the come up.
This I've been saying this for at least a year. Last year we covered Benson Huang's Nvidia speech. What was it? GDC? I can't remember what they
with
call
all
it.
of their AI.
Yeah, and I said this company, pay attention to this company because they are firing on all cylinders in the hottest sectors out there. This was back when they were selling a lot of cards for Bitcoin. But what's amazing is Bitcoin, crypto kind of faded away. But what happened? AI took off, and
right.
and their chips and their hardware is used for AI like crazy. Nvidia. I mean, if you want to know who's making money in AI, it's Nvidia.
Yeah.
6.7 billion profit in the quarter, which is a 422% increase year over year. They
Jeez.
quadrupled their profits.
Good grief.
Again, mostly selling these cards. Gaming's part of it for sure, but the big one is AI. They make the GPUs. ChatGPT uses. Google buys them. Everybody does. The high-end AI chip, the H100, is the hottest card out there right now. Sales doubled, 101%.
Man.
Stock's almost at 500.
Yeah.
In September, it was 121.
If people listen to our show, I don't give stock advice.
Nope.
But I've heard it again and again from people who say, I realized this company was on the roll from your reporting, and I bought it. And see that rolls? But I don't buy tech stocks, so I don't. And I think it's a mistake to listen to us for stock advice. But I think we saw this coming. AI, cars, buying NVIDIA chips like crazy for all the self-driving stuff, gaming.
I would have assumed whomever is handling like the EV batteries, the lithium, what is it? Lithium ion or the lithium.
The new ones are
it's
these.
A new one
the iron-based.
Iron,
ones.
that's the one. Lithium ion.
LFP.
I figured it would have been those companies that would have been on the come up. And
There's a lot more competition there, I think, right? That
Yeah, and it's also
Nvidia
not-
has a grab.
It's
on
not
it.
a giant market yet. This is a hot market. But yeah, I mean, I'm not predicting what it'll be in a
What's
year.
happened to the price of chips with the scarcity? Is it gone through the roof?
Yes, absolutely. And companies like Microsoft are buying these as fast as they can make them. Let's see if I can find a price on these things. Data centers, buying them. Microsoft buys Nvidia's H100 GPUs for the Azure cloud and for OpenAI. In fact, this is really the big benefactor of this AI boom is Nvidia. Meta expects to spend $30 billion this year on data centers, maybe more as it continues to build its AI capabilities.
How much did they lose with their VR venture?
$10 billion a year. $10 billion a year, but it's not over. It still could happen. It could still happen.
When? When?
It could still happen. Let's see. Nvidia is also compiling its technology into expensive and complicated systems like the HGX box. That's 8 H100 GPUs in one computer. They said in their earnings release, I'm reading from CNBC's story, building an HGX box uses a supply chain of 35,000 parts. It can cost $300,000. Each of these H100 cards costs between $25,000 and $30,000.
Holy moly!
How many of them does OpenAI need?
As many as you can make.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not at all surprised, and yet it looks like the use of ChatGPT and these other tools is decreasing. This is from The Honest Broker.
You said parlor trick.
Ted Gioia. I said it was a parlor trick, but I've also said, I've been a little bit chastened by it. Look at the job the show notes AI does. In certain areas, it is good. It's not the thing of typing a query into ChatGPT.
That's the thing.
That was dopey. Yeah. Oh, you made a limerick. Wow.
Y'all made fun of me because I didn't really get excited about Bard and all of that stuff. Like, dude, I'm just doing a Google search. I don't need AI for that. But
Ted Gioia, The Honest Broker, says the only areas where AI is flourishing are shamming, spamming, and scamming. The AI.
Well, that's a growth business.
He's a good writer. The AI. I think a human wrote this. The AI hype is collapsing faster than the bouncy house after a kid's birthday.
Wow.
Good.
Bing's market share of search still 3%. Did not go up with Chat GPT with Bing Chat. In fact, it's dropped slightly since the beginning of the year.
Because this is what I wrote in my post that we talked about last week in my conversation with Jason, is that I think that generative AI is going to give all of AI cooties because you're not going to trust. Oh, the machine made that? Oh.
I think my position is it's good for humans because if an infinite amount of mediocre crap is created by AI, it makes the quality content created by real humans more valuable, right?
Well, I think more than that, it commodifies content so much that this idea that we have to make more and more content all the time, that goes away. And it feels like journalism have to recognize value in different ways, in trust and authority and information and value and utility and things like that, rather than, I made 20 stories today. I filled the world with more popcorn peanuts from styrofoam packages,
He says, everywhere we look, the situation is the same. A huge amount has been invested into AI, but consumers aren't taking the bait. They're treating it like those America Online startup discs in the mail. Bingo, straight into the trash. Who's buying those AI written books? Boy, if you go to x.com, it's all about, here's the 3 things you need to know about AI to change your life. Here's, right? Everything I see on there.
Yeah, I see humans who are writing these books now. Nah.
No, it's all AI.
No. No. Even the ones who are writing it to say how powerful AI is, they're going to go as stale as a.
It's just
Dunkin' Donuts donut in a week.
Are you trying to find a nice metaphor like the?
I'm trying to find
the bouncy house.
Yeah,
You're not going to beat shamming, spamming, and scamming.
And all that awesome alliteration,
which I love. I adore alliteration.
Anyway, he makes a strong case, I think. It's a good article if you haven't read it. I think you must have put this in because I did not see this. Yeah, thank you.
I did.
What else? We're actually doing a lot of AI stories. I guess this is our AI segment. The Times is mad. They want to sue ChatGPT. In fact, The Times, CNN, and the ABC, the Australian broadcasting company, are blocking.
And Chicago Tribune and some Australian newspapers and others.
Canberra Times,
it's becoming
Newcastle
a
Herald.
thing.
Because you can now, I mean, I don't blame them. You can now use a robots.txt style command to keep those bots from scanning your data.
But then the AI we get is going to be worse. It's the human analog, right?
Right.
Just as if you put all news behind a paywall, then humans are going to be dumber. You put all news behind their robots.txt, then the AI is going to be dumber. Are we really any better off?
Yeah, AI, ChatGPT actually posted a blog post explaining how to disallow GTPT bot. You put this in your robots.txt, user agent GPT bot, disallow, but then made the case that you shouldn't do it. Don't do it. Because
So I didn't review this story very much, but right in the same section, OpenAI says that they're trying to get the court to throw out all but one claim of the authors who were suing them over their works.
I believe it was an artist.
The one that stays open is copyright, but the others they want to get rid of.
They say it's a derivative work. It's basically fair use.
And transformative.
Oh, OpenAI claimed the authors, quote, misconceived the scope of copyright, failing to take into account the limitations and exceptions, including fair use, that properly leave room for innovators like us to use their stuff. So, but they said what? They said one thing.
Yeah, they said the copyright should go ahead, that's still worth adjudicating.
Okay.
But the rest of it should all be thrown out.
Okay.
But let's go back to the newspapers for a second. So if, I mean, the one hand, fine, you OpenAI says, well, we'll honor a robots.txt. But absent that, if OpenAI subscribed to the New York Times, they've acquired the content legally, I still see no problem. The machine should be able to read it, learn from it.
Just as you and I do.
Yes, exactly.
How is it different?
And we as humans should fight for the machine's right to do that so it doesn't impinge upon us. And then we're told, oh, no, you can't know that. And bring in Cory Doctorow into the discussion. If all knowledge becomes protected in ways that you're not allowed to know it, we got trouble in an enlightened society.
I agree.
Let's take a little break. More to come. It really feels like we should bring Stacy back. Oh, that's right. She quit. I hope she's
This is a good way to promote the show, Leo.
She got another gig.
Yeah, she's working at Consumers Union. If you just
She's going to change the world. Here she just blathers with us.
Yeah, we are actively searching for a new blatherer to join us. Our show today brought to you by...
Go to LinkedIn. Oh, sorry. I screwed up here. Go to LinkedIn and search for blatherers. And you'll find this job.
Blatherer in chief. Actually, I asked Cory about this. I'm trying to remember. He was on Twitter a week and a half ago, and I don't... He basically brushed off the copyright issues, saying we got... I'll have to go back and listen to it. I wish I had an AI summary of that show. That we have bigger fish to fry. That's not...
Yeah.
That's not the thing that we have to worry about.
Well, that's an issue for big media companies, which Corey's not exactly a huge fan of.
Yeah, he doesn't care if it reads his books.
I just wish that the artists like Sarah Silverman understood that piracy is out there.
She, let's be fair to her and all the others. I don't think it was her idea to sue. I think some legal eagle said, hey, how can we get to, go after these guys? They've got deep pockets. And I think it will be thrown out. I think we've always said that this is fair use, that this isn't stealing the book. This is, in effect, reading the book.
But it's going to take years to adjudicate that. In the meantime, then people are going to be scared of using the fruits of these models for fear that they'll get sued years hence.
Right.
So it's got to get settled one way or the other is kind of the wise way to go.
Hey, our show today brought to you by another podcast you probably prefer, to be honest. I am so good at marketing, aren't I?
Oh, boy.
Building cyber resilience. This is. I am very interested by the idea of data science. This is a show with a data scientist, Dr. Anna Irvin. She's Chief Data Scientist and VP of Product Management at Resilience. And it's also hosted by Rich Seierson, who is the CRO, the Chief Risk Officer at Resilience. Resilience, building cyber resilience, is more important than ever before because our companies are living in this advanced technology-driven landscape. Our businesses are smarter, the better serve customers because of it. But with that, along with that, intelligence also comes threats, and that's where cyber resilience is so important. In the Building Cyber Resilience podcast, Dr. Irvin and Mr. Seierson talk about the positive outcomes of developing risk management and utilizing data science across industries to create smarter business. They have some of the best guests on. I'll give you an example. They just did one on AI. Will ChatGPT replace the underwriter? And their guest was the chief strategist of AI and machine learning for the United States Department of Defense. The DOD. I didn't even know the DOD had a chief strategist in AI and machine learning, as well as a chief risk officer of Symmetry Systems. They talked about how AI is being used for cyber attacks and how it affects defensive roles in security and how AI can be used to defend. Really interesting stuff, but that's just one of many topics in the Building Cyber Resilience podcast. Top experts and innovators in the field of risk management and cybersecurity and data science. How are businesses beating the bad guys that are attacking their bottom line? How are businesses managing risk and crisis without hurting the value to customers? It's a tough challenge. Listen in, learn how you can build a cyber resilient organization. Search for Building Cyber Resilience. It's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and wherever you listen to podcasts. Building Cyber Resilience. Always glad to promote a great podcast. This is one of them. And we thank them so much for supporting us, right? Building Cyber Resilience. We'll put a link in the show notes, but if you just search for that in your favorite podcast application, you'll find it quickly. Building Cyber Resilience. Because go ahead.
Don't go ahead.
I was just going to say, I kind of agree with OpenAI because if everything OpenAI says is a derivative work, well, maybe ChatGPT's stuff is derivative, right? It does no original thinking on its own.
Nope.
So if you agree, if a court agrees, oh yeah, this is all stolen from somewhere else, that's it. That's the end of LLMs. That's the end of that kind of AI. It's over.
Yeah. Well, it's not just LLMs. It's the end of machine learning. Because LLMs, what scared everybody is that these are now used to create content. So that's what scares us. But machine learning has been around for a long time, learning from all this stuff for a long time. And if you cut off the ability to learn, that can be scary.
Here is, did you find this or did Anthony find this? Hugging Face has a new Hugging Face.
I found this. It might take a while. It's one of these cases, Leo, where you should go in and make a request and then come back to it because it might take a little time, but it's fun.
It's a comic generator.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right. So what should I do? A Japanese, Franco-Belgian, American?
I did American 1950s.
It's funny that you should say that because I want to do that too. And so what's the story?
Do you want a superhero? Do you want...
A cat gets stuck in a skyscraper, but a superhero named... What's the name of the superhero? Plastic
Leo.
Ant comes and saves it. Is that enough?
And realizes
a little
he's
more.
allergic
I think
to cats.
the cat has to have some kind of special power, don't you think?
Okay, a laser eyed cat gets stuck in a skyscraper chasing the evil
Oh, yes.
mouse man. But a superhero named Plastic Ant comes and saves it.
With what superpower should Plastic Ant have?
I think we should let the AI determine that.
Okay, fine. All right. So generate away.
Wow.
And what's the moral is there a moral?
Well, it doesn't really
Every
have text. It just creaks the text.
has its day. Okay. Now, Jen, what font should I use? I can choose a font too. Looks like I'm going to use Action Man. Okay.
Helvetica.
We are now generating a new comic book. We'll come back to that.
It'll take a few minutes, but it's fun.
That's cool. That's Hugging Face, which is...
And on tomorrow's, just a little preview for those of you who are here, on tomorrow's Jason's AI show, which I think should just be the title of the damn thing.
Yeah. Actually, that's good.
We're going to have... Yeah.
We're
going to have... tools we want to show off, and I claim that one. I have dibs on that one tomorrow.
Okay, so don't pretend you didn't see this when it comes up.
Perfect.
Like we didn't mention it.
Well, Jason and I can play with some new things tomorrow.
I should probably mention that Taylor Lorenz is going to be on Twit.
Wow!
In a couple of, I know we've been trying to get her on Twit for so long. Amy Webb and Taylor Lorenz and Jill Duffy. That's September 10th. You're not going to want to miss that one. That's going to be a very
So you're going to
special.
convince Taylor to replace Stacy, and then it's a win.
Oh, hey, here we go. Here's our comic book.
That was quick.
Already?
Holy cow! This is amazing.
Isn't it great?
That was
Holy
quick.
cow! There's the laser-eyed cat man,
It made up some flies too.
and then wow, and then there's
Plastic Ant.
Plastic Ant saving him, and I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense, but it's a pretty good job.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's Greek. Now the thing is, it should now have the ability to fill in all the bubbles with your own text.
Yeah. Well, there's a tool for that, right?
Has to be.
Yeah, we talked about it. Was it? Oh, maybe it was on Twitch.
Yeah, that was right. There was last week.
Or was it
Yeah.
last week on, yeah, we
was
talked about
Fanky
Queepack. Yeah, Queepack Pecky or whatever.
Fanky Queepack.
So it only does like 5 or 6 frames,
This is pretty sweet.
but it's pretty nice.
Now I could regenerate it in a different. Let's do a. I don't know, humanoid hat. What's haddock?
I don't know. It ain't.
I got to find out now. All right, we'll go back at that. Look at
It's
that.
going to be fish.
Did I tell you I slept on the couch last night? I'm just kind of tired.
How's Lisa feeling?
She's all better. She took Paxlovid. So she came back from Podcast Expo on Friday.
Podcast
Was feeling movement they call it, and was feeling a little low, but not super sick. Tested Saturday morning. She said, "Get away from me." I got it. I got the vid.
And not because of the usual things I say that for.
Yeah.
This time.
This time I got a reason. And so I decamped to my office, sealed it up with saran wrap, and I have a weird little couch, which unfortunately is too short for me. So I have to sleep
That's
either
a
with my
tiny
feet
couch.
sticking out or in a ball. And I've been sleeping there all week. But now she just tested this
What are
morning.
you doing for meals?
Take out. What else? No, I'm cooking. We have to take turns in the kitchen, and then. But I didn't get it. I just
He was
tested
talking
this
about
morning.
a peacock and lost its feathers a few minutes ago.
Yeah, Bob's gone.
So
Have you ever had peacock? And then,
Are you masking in the home?
oh yeah, I didn't want to get it, but both
Opening
of us
windows?
are testing negative this morning. She took Paxlovid. Now I don't know. Is there a fear of like rebound and stuff? I don't know, but she tested negative after 5 days of Paxlovid, which is what's supposed to happen. So
Unfortunately, I can't take it because of my AFib.
oh, that's not good. I know. You know, I thought if I get it, I'm not going to take it because I want to get the full immunity. I want to fight it off like a man.
Oh, no.
I want to take it on and whoop its butt and say goodbye, and then I will be stronger for it.
attaboy.
Unless it
After you
kills me.
drink your bleach. Yeah.
X has changed its mind and will be allowing political ads. This does not bode well
No.
for 2024. X has confirmed is lifting its ban on political ads, a move it committed to earlier this year after Musk bought it. You may remember that they banned the ads after the midterms in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now that we can't make any money on political ads, we're going to ban them.
Okay, so
And I think if you're really paying attention, interesting, they banned them until there was an election, and they brought him. They brought him back.
right. So how much money has X made?
Well, X is desperate, right?
So this is a play. Hey,
Yeah. Ad sales for X have dropped, according to Well, we don't know. Oh, I guess in the New York Times, 59% year over year.
That's amazing.
So anything to keep X afloat. Well, they say it's as part of X's commitment to free speech.
Is that in air quotes?
Yes, supporting people's right to accurate and safe political discourse.
Accurate and safe.
On
Yeah.
X. Yeah.
But X safety, which is nobody. There is
Well,
no
they
safety
say
team.
we're currently expanding our safety and elections team
from zero to one part-timer.
on combating manipulation, surfacing inauthentic
Let
accounts,
the intern do it.
and closely monitoring the platform for emerging threats. Speaking of emerging threats, here is the haddock version of the comic.
Oh, what is a haddock?
Well, it's kind of nice.
It's
a
cute.
Yeah.
There's Ant-Man looking
okay.
like another kind of cat.
Ant-Man is a cat.
Yeah. And he's got a little,
Right? Is that a cat?
little poop sigil on his back. Okay. I know. All right, let's
All
try,
right, try another genre. One more genre.
What,
Yeah.
what else? Amorican?
Franco-Belgian.
Franco. Oh, that'll be like...
What is a Franco-Belgian?
That'll be like Tintin or Asterisk. Ricks.
Oh, that'll be funny.
Yeah. We'll come back to that.
Franco-Belgian.
Franco-Belgian. Where was I? God, I've got no memory at all.
We're talking about X in the political ads.
What do you think of
Excellent
X,
political
guys? Are you using X?
I still am.
Again, I still use it broadcast-wise. I don't go there to consume very much.
Yeah.
You mentioned a few minutes ago in the show about some of the stuff that it was showing to you.
Oh, wow. Steve Gibson just announced on X. We were asking him for this. One of the things, Steve talked about this yesterday, is that they're discovering that a lot of the hard drives, you're right, you know, he does a piece of software called SpinRite, which checks hard drives for errors, and it's been having trouble because a lot of the hard drives sold these days are bogus. They claim 2 terabytes and they're 500, or they're a thumb drive built into an SSD box. And so, it's a big problem, especially on Amazon and AliExpress. And so I said, this would be a good feature for SpinRite. He said, yeah, I'm going to have to put that in the next version. But now he's decided he's going to pause work on SpinRite to create a new piece of freeware that will quickly and non-destructively check any USB-connected mass storage for fakery and will spot
That's pretty
fake drives.
cool.
Thank
Good
you,
on
Steve.
you, Mr. Gibson.
Thank you, Steve. CX is something. It's wonderful.
So I wonder how he'll do that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Just the how would you know that there's a
He talked
thumb
about that.
drive inside a box?
What you do is you have to write data to every sector of the drive and make sure it has that full, that you can read and write all of the sectors it claims to have. And then you have to do some additional fudging to make sure it's not compressing it to make it 1 terabyte drive look like it holds 2 terabytes. There's some extra stuff you do. But he says it's doable. Problem is it could take time because you got to write to every sector and read every sector.
Yeah.
So big drives these days could take a while. But anyway, good for you, Steve. Thank you. He must have thought of a way to do this fast. That's probably what happened.
Air quotes
he went home
fast.
last night and he was thinking, so wow, that's good. See, X is great. I love X.
It is.
Look what you learn.
I can't remember what you were saying earlier about what it was showing to you, but I think as
Besides
I go
Cheech and
into
Chong
my
gummies ads.
into my For You version of X.com, it seems to know what I like because everything I'm scrolling through is football, recruiting.
I keep hearing people say, "Oh, it's full of right-wing crazies and stuff." I don't see that much.
I'm
of
not
that.
seeing anything.
I
like
do see the
that.
great Cheech and Chong gummies, though. I see a lot of that.
More
Do you
football,
get that, or
more
is it just
football,
me?
photography.
Oh, no, I get that.
football, My nephew.
And you're not getting
hard-headed.
any ads in there.
No ads. And this is on the web page, not inside the mobile app.
The only thing I don't like is there's so much AI garbage these days.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any of that stuff anymore. I used to see a bunch of memes and crap that I didn't care about.
Is it
and
possible they're going to turn it around and
the
make,
problem
make
is
it
still
better?
bots. Still, PS Chops in our IRC mentioned that earlier, and I agree because I get followed by bots all the daggum time, and Musk and the squad has not figured out a way to fix that just yet, even though that was the top of his list of demands when it came time for acquisition, if I remember correctly.
Well, as long as we're saying that these guys are turning things around, I should point out Meta has just done its single biggest takedown, removing a Chinese influence campaign. Speaking of disinformation.
I was hoping we were going to have Joan
Good on you.
Donovan on today to talk about that.
Well, when we bring, because she's the expert on disinformation, we also tried to get Alex Stamos, he runs the Stanford Internet Observatory. We will get both of them on it in future shows. The campaign began at least 4 years ago, spanned thousands of accounts, not just Facebook, though, Instagram, TikTok, X, Substack, and Chinese websites. But Meta has, so as the Times gives an example, back in February, an article claiming that the U.S. destroyed the Nord Stream underwater pipeline in the Baltic Sea was published on Substack and Blogspot. Within 24 hours, the article had been posted to Reddit, Medium, Tumblr, Facebook, YouTube. Translations of the article, Greek, German, Russian, Italian, and Turkish, also began appearing online. We now know that the posts are part of a Chinese influence campaign. Meta says started with Chinese law enforcement, was discovered in 2019. 7,000.
Wait a minute. Started with law enforcement?
Yeah. 7,704 Facebook accounts. 950. This is one group. 954 Facebook pages, 15 Facebook groups, 15 Instagram accounts, all removed from Meta because of their ties to the Chinese campaign.
The thing about this is there's research that I don't have it at hand, but says that people spend a tremendously small amount of their time on this disinformation. A small group spreads it around, but most people just hardly see it. And it isn't that influential.
No,
I don't think we have an idea of how big a problem it really is.
I think it is, because here's what I think happens, and I see this happen in my life too. People are scrolling through Facebook. They see it peripherally, and they just kind of register, oh, the U.S. might have blown up Nord Stream, and keep on going. They don't even look enough to know what the source of that was or anything. I saw you've said this, everybody said, I saw a headline. I can't remember where it was from. It said that we did that. And it gets in your head. And you see enough of it, and people start repeating it.
So that's the psychological
You might start believing it, even there's zero evidence. In fact, all the evidence now is Russia did it, as we thought. But it was beneficial to the Chinese. They called this operation spamouflage.
Just planting a seed, if you will.
Yeah, because they consider the U.S. an adversary, so they wanted people to question the United States motives and so forth. And by the way, Facebook said the Chinese campaign struggled to reach people and attract attention, just as you said. Some posts were riddled with spelling errors and poor grammar. Others were incongruent, random links under Quora articles that had nothing to do with the subject being discussed. But I will say, I believe that doesn't matter because people don't dig that deep. They just, in glancing, they register it.
Yeah, but
it's
also, the question is, how many actually even see it at all?
Well, if you don't see it, it does
That's
nothing.
the thing.
Right.
And I don't think many people see it, and it's not shared much, and it's a small portion of people who do share it. The same argument is being made about AI is, oh my God, this election, we're going to get buried in disinformation. Well, we already have plenty of disinformation. What does the volume mean? The question is not how much there is put up online. The question is how many see it and what impact it has.
Facebook says that it's the 7th campaign they've removed from China in the last 6 years. 4 of them found in this year alone. And this, Meta says, is because the Chinese are learning from and mimicking the Russian influence campaigns that we've known about.
Good on them.
First of all, it's probably a fractional cost for these companies, right? Countries, rather. It's a small amount. What did it cost? $5 million.
Oh yeah, it's a toy. Yeah.
And I think that there is this thought, and I believe it's true, that you put this in the air, people aren't going to really read it like I would read a New York Times story and vet it and say, wait a minute, look, all these errors, this is not. They just see it. It's in the glance. And enough of those, I saw in 4 different places. That's why they spread it everywhere. I keep seeing that the U.S. did this. I'm thinking maybe that's the case. It's the same thing with the origins of COVID, I
also think that it's an effort. It's a message to the United States government and to our
that we can do this.
Well, yeah, we're just we're gonna cost you some effort to keep track of this and to worry about us, and we can come in everywhere under you. It's guerrilla warfare online.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And some of these, by the way, are pro-Chinese. One of the links Meta posted in its report links to a TikTok account, part of the spamouflage operation. One of the most popular videos, which the Times says we saw, showed a woman arguing in Chinese that life in Xinjiang, which is where the Uyghurs are being interned, was peaceful. Of course, we know that that's propaganda from the Chinese government to make you, forget that they're, putting Uyghurs, Muslims, a minority in prison camps.
Is it China's fault that society can't quite seem to think for themselves anymore?
No, I don't think that. I don't think that the point of this is to say. I think the point of it is to raise people's awareness, and I honestly do think that that is one of the problems with the internet is there's a lot of stray information floating by, and your brain sees it, and if you see it enough, you start to think it's true because we're built so that if 20 people told you something was true, you'd go, it must be true. We're built that way. So if you create an influence operation that goes to all the different places and you keep seeing the earth is flat, you might say, well, I know it's not flat, but boy, there must be something going on here.
There's got to be some legitimacy.
There's got to be some reason I keep seeing this. I really believe that. Jeff, do you not think that's the case?
No, I don't. I think the problem is that we are assuming too much that people actually care about the truth of things when they want to performatively say,
well, that's good.
Child molesters in pizza basements.
Right.
They don't care whether it's true. That's not the point of it. The point of it is to signal and say, I hate those people, and here's what I'm going to say about them. And so the coordinated attacks right now on transsexuals. Why is that suddenly out there?
Yeah, who cares?
Because it's a signal.
Yeah, or drag queens. I mean,
it just seems like there's
why all of a sudden,
no, what was that? Critical thinking.
But this isn't that. I think my point is, it's not involving that part of your brain.
Okay,
no. It's not involving thinking at all.
Okay,
it's just all these impressions.
That's the point. Yeah,
and in the back.
But I don't think it's impressions. I think it's more than just, I came to believe this. It's that irritates those people I don't like.
No, I agree. No, I agree. But that's a separate thing going on. I think that also is happening, which is this.
But the problem is, how do you then judge actual belief versus?
Well, you don't. That's why polls are so useless now, right?
Absolutely useless.
Polls are also performative, political polls.
Yes.
People will say something to a pollster for performance reasons, not because they believe
it. As the
great,
the late James Carey, a Columbia professor, said, opinion polls preempt the conversation they are meant to measure.
Oh, I love that.
Opinion polls are, it's brilliant stuff. And I think
everybody agrees.
I wish I were qualified to write is The Danger of Political Polls to Democracy.
Yeah. Well, of just horse race journalism to democracy.
That too.
You cannot get away from that anywhere. It's all a horse race. It's not about, nobody's talking about policy or anything. It's like who's in the lead. And coming around the courthouse, and we got and it's just not. I think that's BS. Who won the Republican debate? Who won it?
Yeah.
Not what did they talk about? Who won it?
Right.
But that's the thing. You think critically, though.
I don't think critically. I'm just as susceptible.
He just criticizes.
I'm just as susceptible to this as anybody. I know that if I see something, and I don't. The most important part of this is that you don't register. That you don't get a chance. Your critical thinking doesn't even get engaged. It's just you keep getting these impressions. I see this happen with so many people. I saw this in 12 different places. I'm starting to believe this. I'll give you an example. I'm starting to see in a lot of different places, we're spending a lot of money on Ukraine. Shouldn't we be spending that in better places? And if somebody wrote a think piece in foreign policy talking about this, that'd be one thing. But that's not the point of this.
Right.
The point of it is, so you start thinking, maybe we're spending too much money.
Ramaswamy says that it's on Fox, it's on this, it's on that.
Yeah.
And
And it amplifies it. But the real point of it is not to trigger your thinking process at all. It's not, if you start thinking about
it's Overton window.
It's shifting the Overton.
To let something into the conversation that wasn't there.
You probably see how they're full of crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't want you to think. What the idea, though, I think, and it's effective, I think, of this spamouflage thing is just to get the thought in your head.
Yeah.
And eventually you might even think you thought it.
Okay, I get it now.
I'm hearing this everywhere.
Psychology 101.
Yeah, well, it's where old wives' tales come from. And, I mean, it's just, I think it's a natural human.
Well, so, all right, can I do a Jeff moment here?
Please bring that book out. Is it the Gutenberg
different book.
parenthesis?
Different book. No. Well, we could do that. We could show
We
that
should just
first.
quickly.
You
There it
gotta
is.
show it.
Gutenbergparenthesis.com. That's Jeff's new book. Just came out. It's great.
And coming in November, Object Lesson Magazine.
Woohoo! Good one.
What's that?
That's my next book in November. It's a little book about the It's an elegy to the magazine.
Oh, I want to read that.
Man,
That
that's
sounds
a tiny
great.
book. I'm going to need stronger
It's nice
glasses.
and short too. So, but I'm going to talk about something that's going
Fama.
to put you to
The
Fama.
politics of talk and reputation in medieval Europe. You know,
watch
I've been
out.
very
Watch
worried
out.
about. I've been very worried about this medieval Europe thing. It's just I'm worried about this. What's going on in medieval Europe?
So the point is, what did people do before print? Right. Well, when print came out, nobody trusted it because their provenance was not clear. Anybody could make a pamphlet. Anybody can make a Facebook post. Anybody can make a tweet.
Right.
It was all the same. Right.
Right.
And then when the institutions of editing and publishing came along that imbued print with authority. So what did people do before print? And I was curious about that. And I went back and looked at some stuff, and I came across this concept called fama. In Latin, you can probably tell me, it means it is said. And what this is really about is that when people in their time had to take the responsibility.
This is what we're talking about, right? That's
Exactly
what we're talking about.
They had to take the responsibility for understanding the reputation of who told them something, the reputation that attached to what they heard, the reputation of the person that it was about, their own reputation when they wanted to share it. And they had to manage this social process. It wasn't an institutional process. It was a social process of whom do you trust? Why do you trust them? And what have they said in the past? And that responsibility we kind of deputized to institutions like journalism and publishing and so on. And now that they're overwhelmed, the responsibility falls back on us. And we're not very good at it. And people need help doing it. But that's what it returns to, in essence, is that we're all going to make these decisions on our own. And thus, we've got to help people make those decisions and not just have crap thrown out all the time. So they say, there's child molesters and pizza parlors.
But
End
but
of Jarvis
that was kind of my point, is that people don't do the FOMA question. They don't say where it came from.
But they should.
They
That's
should.
the thing.
But it plants
It's
the
our
seed.
responsibility.
Yeah.
And the internet that we build is going to be, and it's true of all of us. In the internet book I've been working on, I say that if one of the things we should promise to ourselves is if something looks too good to be true, stop.
Yeah.
Don't share it. Think for a second. That's all.
Yeah.
But we won't.
Well,
It's media
but
literacy,
again,
right?
Well,
Media
speak
literacy.
for yourself.
Say, Benito.
Ant-Man.
It's media
Plastic
literacy when it
Ant-Man.
comes down to it. Like, we don't have a good media literacy in this country. Like, nobody
but
knows how to read
Again,
stuff.
this is my point, that Spamiflage didn't require that you read it. It just required that it scrolled by.
Right.
And it scrolled by in enough places you weren't even thinking about it, and it got in your head. And it's part, and something it kind of makes sense.
They call it's their.
I'm
spray
heretical
and
about
pray,
media
like
literacy.
What we
Spray
see in
and
photography.
pray.
It's
Spray
just,
and pray.
Yeah.
just
By the way, you might be
all the
wondering what
signals.
happened to that laser-eyed cat that got stuck in a skyscraper
Oh,
while
yeah.
chasing the evil mouse man. Here's the Belgian Franco.
Belgian
That's
Frankel.
weird.
I like
That's
it.
weird.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
It's
I don't
cyberpunk.
It's very
That's
cool.
the word, cyberpunk. Yeah.
I don't
It's a
see.
gigantic cat.
Yeah.
That
Where's
cat looks
Plastic
stoned.
Man? Where's Plastic Ant? What are these things?
I've been written out.
You've been written out of the comic.
The algorithm killed you, Ant. I'm sorry.
This is great. I'm going to save this. I might have fun with
Well, the
this.
great thing is I'm going to use this for when I need illustration for a post.
Yeah.
If you want to know
So
more
it's
about this,
great.
tune in tomorrow, the AI show. Jason's AI show. I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
it fits.
Jason's AI show. Who's Jason? We don't care. He's just some guy named Jason. Jason's AI show. It's kind of like saying everybody's AI show.
Well, if we can have Claude, we can have Jason.
Yeah. Jason and Jennifer's AI show.
Oh, boy.
And then it's everybody's AI show, right?
JJ.
Just generic.
Jason. Well, hold on here.
I'm leaving this
stand
to
up for
Miss
Jason
Report,
Day.
too.
Jason is not a secretary, and he's not generic. Let's just be clear.
No, I don't mean it's that Jason. It's just the generic Jason.
No, it's our Jason.
It's your Jason. If you want to know more about Comic Factory and the Hugging Face space, all you have to do is tune in tomorrow. and find out more.
But you have to be a member of the club
Clubbies.
to do so.
I think we're going to start streaming that while he does it as well. So
Yep.
if if you're in the chat room or if you're watching live, you can.
Yeah, everyone
what we
can see the
did.
live. Everyone can see the live.
Everybody
Yeah.
can see it live. Thank you, Benita.
Oh, cool.
It's open to all.
They just don't get the.
Well, I want
reruns.
to go back to media literacy for 1 second, because I'm a heretic on this topic, because that's the flag I should salute. But if news media needs an instruction manual to teach people how to use it, then it's the news that's doing something wrong, not the people. And I think we've got to see different ways to meet their needs. What do you say?
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I've said for a while, and our so-called journalists out there have to do a better job.
And I think we have done ourselves a great disservice with the 24-hour news channels.
Yeah.
And Fox is obviously egregious, but I think all of them
All of
really,
them are.
Because in order to fill, I know we tried to do it at Tech TV to fill 24 hours with news coverage. You're going to end up sensationalizing it to keep it interesting.
Well, news used to be a public service.
Yeah, news used to be a public service. Now it's a profit center. Not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
Well, and look today, it's been storm end to end.
Knowledge today.
Yeah. So the storm end to end stuff. So I put up a
Oh, man, that
screenshot
goddamn buoy in Key West. I'm so sick of that. Every time there's a hurricane in Florida, they show that buoy, which is the southernmost part of the U.S. continent, Key West.
Right.
And there's a reporter. I'm standing here waiting for the hurricane. It's terrible. You turned me onto this years ago, Jeff. This
Storm porn.
Storm porn.
Yeah.
But no, just the idea that a reporter has to be
It's
knee
wet.
deep in water,
Right.
in order to cover
TV
this
doesn't
story.
have the sense to get out of the rain.
Yes.
The hurricane. last
Neil
week here.
Postman, in his book, Amusing Ourselves to Death, talked about how the telegraph changed everything because it suddenly made everything everybody's business. So a storm somewhere now became important everywhere, even though it's not relevant to you. It didn't happen to you. It didn't come into Petaluma. Yes, you care about the people there. That's fine. But to cover it all day long is ridiculous. There's other things happening in the world, and they just ignore it to go for storm porn.
I take you now to the southernmost webcam.
He's found it.
Live from Key. Oh, it won't load. Damn
The
it.
storm took it out, man.
The storm took it out, did it?
Right, probably.
No, that thing's made out of cement.
Maybe a great white got it.
I think it's actually because I'm on Linux and it doesn't want to load it.
You're not in Chrome.
Yeah, I'm not in Chrome. That's right. It doesn't like Firefox on Linux. Well, we don't know what you're doing. Who are you? What are you doing here? Anyway, I hope you're all right. Hurricane Idalia. I think it landed. It was bad. I hope everybody's okay.
Tis
But
the
it wasn't.
season.
It's bad, but it wasn't as bad as you could almost. The TV people were almost hoping.
Oh, they're praying.
Oh, it's a Category
They're
3.
praying for it. It's
Yeah.
sad.
And it
So,
preys on older folks, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
It always prey on older
people
folks.
people with soft brains of any stripe.
Yeah. Yes, my
yours
brain
is-
is
firm.
brain is soft,
It's
but I'm not a
firm.
total idiot. I don't even watch the news.
Probably smart. So you were wondering, I know, how the meta ban of news in Canada has fared, right?
Oh, poor Canada.
According to Reuters, the Canada news ban has failed to dent Facebook usage.
Nobody cares.
Nobody
about the
cares.
news.
Daily active users of Facebook and time spent on the app in Canada unchanged since they started blocking news start of August. Two different analytics firms. SimilarWeb says unchanged. Data.ai said its data was not showing any meaningful change to the usage. Here is the graph, and it's nothing. There's where they block news links. It's the same.
It was 3% before, and
Yeah.
Who cares?
Meta did not comment on this, but they're probably secretly going.
They were
see,
They're
secretly
like,
clapping.
see,
They're
we
like,
told you.
we know. What's new?
We told you it wouldn't affect us.
I think Meta will. I think I predict. I don't predict anything because I'm not a futurist. I predict, however, that Meta will end up getting rid of news almost the world around.
It's too much trouble. There's
It
no
is.
point. And if
what
it
it
doesn't
is.
affect your usage, because people don't go to Facebook for news. I know that
We thought so.
We thought that they got.
Well,
their
they
news.
say they start Facebook with news. By the way, number one, there's nothing stopping a news organization from putting actual information on
right.
Facebook.
So there can
Right.
still be news there. Yeah.
And number two, for all this, oh my God, they're cutting off news. Well, every news organization has paywalls, so they're not exactly opening it up to the world either.
All right.
It also matters where you're talking about, though, because like there are places like where I'm from the Philippines, and this is the place where Facebook is like the most powerful thing ever. And people share news, read news. They do everything on Facebook over there.
And Benito, not just Facebook, but WhatsApp.
It's
right?
the internet.
The other meta.
Oh yeah, Facebook
property.
is the internet for some people.
Yeah, in the
right?
Philippines, Facebook's the internet.
Yeah.
But you know,
Really
what do you think of
interesting.
Rappler?
Rappler's great. Yeah.
What's Raptor?
Yep. Rappler is Maria Ressa, a Nobel Prize-winning journalist, and enemy of Duterte.
Oh, but now is she okay? Did she go to jail?
No.
No.
Duterte's not the president anymore. We got a new president now.
You got rid of Duterte. See?
But we have an it's a Marcos now again.
Oh, another Marcos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're kind of doing that again.
Fantastic.
Greatest hits.
What? So this is a question I ask about the U.S. too. What's wrong with the electorate that they keep electing corrupt leaders?
The slavery-based system of states and
In the U.S., it's the Electoral College.
All right.
Yeah.
yeah, it is. It is. Because the Senate wouldn't look like the way it does and the presidency
Right.
wouldn't look like the way it does if it had not been for those rules and that structure.
What is it in the Philippines, Benito, do you think? Benito grew up in the Philippines.
What do you mean? That
Why does Duterte
how does
get
Duterte
elected?
get
Well,
elected?
I mean, in the Philippines, there's a whole lot of issues. I mean, the biggest issue is the colonial mentality. We've been
Right.
colonized since for like the last 1,000 years. So
Colonialism, it really leaves scars, does it not? Much like slavery leaves
yeah, and
scars.
that is really the root of all of the problems.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's the original sin. Thank you, imperialist nations. Job well done. The Philippines was a U.S. colony until most recently, right? But there
Yeah.
was before that, it was Spain.
yeah, Americans were the last, and
Oh, we're
then
the last.
it was Japanese before them, and then it was Spain before
Right.
them.
Oh, I didn't know that part. Spain?
There is. I am
That's why
reading.
that's why I have my Spain. That's why my name is Spanish, yo.
Did not know that. Huh.
Benito.
Benito Gonzalez. That's that's a Spanish name.
That's as Spanish as you can get.
Yeah, I know that, but I had other thoughts.
And
on his
Filipinos have a
name.
lot more in common with like Latinos than they do other Southeast Asians because of that.
I had other thoughts on your name that I won't
But
say
you know,
on air.
when you're Americans, well, where are you from? Culturally, what connections do you feel here?
Okay, well, this is a very loaded question for me personally.
We should say you moved here as an adult.
Yeah, I moved here as an adult, but I was born as an American citizen because my parents were nationalized Americans. But they moved back to the Philippines before I was born. So I'm an actual American that was born in the Philippines to Filipino parents. So like,
What?
So my identity crisis is a little different
I
from
had
other
no
people.
chance in this, in understanding it.
Yeah, so my identity crisis here is a little crazy.
I want to recommend a really fantastic book called How to Hide an Empire. I don't know. Have you read this, Jeff? You seem like you've read every book ever.
No.
A History of the Greater United States. This is... we don't really admit that we were an imperialist, and somewhat still are, an imperialist nation. And it talks about a history of our overseas possessions, including the Philippines.
We still have Puerto Rico. That's still a colony.
Yeah, as an example, when Pearl Harbor was hit, the Japanese also bombed the Philippines significantly. Huge damage. Many more lives lost. But we didn't talk about that. Even both Hawaii and the Philippines were U.S. territories at the time. But because Hawaii, for some reason, we decided Hawaii is okay, but the Philippines, we shouldn't talk. It's a fascinating, eye-opening book. Highly recommended. By Daniel.
It's a great title too. It's because
How
American
to hide an empire.
did have
Yeah.
a hidden empire.
Yeah. The cover kind of says it all. You've got what he calls is the logo map of the U.S., right? Which is the one we're all familiar with.
Right.
And then, but if you look at the territories like Alaska, Puerto Rico, Guam, all the territories, they're really as much of the landmass as those territories. It's really fascinating. I'd be interested when you thought of it, Benito, actually.
That's really interesting. I would like to read that.
Yeah.
But to answer Jeff's question real quick, like how I feel about Americans. I do feel both. I feel like an American and a Filipino. Like when I'm in the Philippines, I have to sort of defend Americans, and when I'm here, I have to defend Filipinos.
You suck.
Yeah.
That sucks. You have to defend people everywhere you go.
Wow.
What about, I'm curious, because you have a Latino name, a Spanish name, and there's Asian connections as too, what assumptions do ignorant Americans make when they meet you and start to hear your history?
I can answer that for you. He's here in California. I assumed he had, an Asian and Spanish parents. Hence the name, hence how he looks. There's the ignorant American answer right there. That's exactly my thought about you, Mr. Benito. I didn't know until later finding out that you were from the Philippines.
You thought what? He was...
Well, no, it's just the fact that his last name is Gonzalez. And it's like, well, we're in freaking California. It's Spanish here.
Right.
So right. That's all it just made sense to me. Oh, okay, he's probably got a Spanish parent and an Asian parent.
Well, that's probably more of a function of you not knowing enough Filipino people, because all the Filipinos have.
Too.
Yeah.
That too.
Except for Victor. Yes. I mean, Victor Bogna, that's a Filipino name. See, Victor's name has a
Victor
one of our
great editors.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Can't say I've met a lot of Filipino people in my life.
Just hang out here.
Actually, and probably more than you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. More than you know. I'm going to get a copy of this.
I feel like everybody Filipino I've met has been here in California in the last 4 years.
Well, there's a lot of us here. A lot of us.
Here's I think this will be fun. Next time you charge your Tesla, take in a movie. Tesla is going to build a supercharger in Los Angeles with a diner and drive-in movie theater.
I like that.
I've been expecting a lot more of this.
I agree.
How do you make that time when you charge enjoyable?
I like this idea.
Most superchargers are in mall parking lots, so that you could
Who goes
in theory
to a mall
go
anymore?
in and eat. But I know maybe that's right.
The people with a Tesla, so they can charge.
Yeah, now this is a drawing. This is from the project's architect. I don't know if they're going to actually call it Milliways, but if you're a fan of Douglas Adams, you'll know that Milliways was the name of the restaurant at the end of the universe in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And it does have a very retro sci-fi look. You see the chargers there.
On that?
And I guess they have like car hops, like in the old days. You remember
that's fun.
That's what Sonic tries to do.
Sonic, and they didn't have A&W in Carolina, did they? Mm-hmm. Here, we had the A&W was right here on Washington Street. It's now a Mexican restaurant. And even when I moved here 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, they would come out in roller skates with the tray, and they hook the tray to your car, and you eat your
That's what
burger.
Sonic used to do in Carolina. I don't know. I haven't been to a Sonic in a gazillion years, but
I like that. You can't find probably can't find young people who know how to roller skate anymore. It's part of the problem, right?
Well, no, you use those
jetpacks,
electric wheel things.
Oh yeah,
one wheels. Oh, that'd be good.
Hoverboards.
Yeah, or Segways. Yeah,
Segways. You can find an aftermarket for your Segway, Leo, or another job.
We already gave them away. We had the
really
well, yeah, the junk. What gave them away? The junk kings came, and they took them. They said,
really?
Yeah, they said, these
are great. There was no value to them.
Well, I'll tell you what the value is. So they said, these are great. Can we have them? I said, yeah, but you should know something. They need new batteries. The new batteries are $3,500 each. You could buy a new Segway from the current owner for $1,000. So take them if you want them. They're classics.
Wow.
$7,000 to get those two Segways working again.
That's crazy.
And for $2,000, I get two new, what do they call them? 9bots. But they bought the Segway. Actually, the 9bots look pretty good. They look actually a little bit better than the original Segways. The original Segways are kind of clunky.
How many miles do you think you put on your Segway?
Not many.
8.
We rode it in town a few times. Probably, and then of course, Michael, when he was like 12, used to joust with his friends. They would have Segway jousting.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, take a nice sharp board, maybe a couple of nails in it, and go at one another. Yeah, it was fun.
I swear, Michael gets cooler and cooler every week, man.
That was crazy. I yelled. It's the only time I've ever yelled at him. What are you doing?
Invented.
They had these the board has sharp point, and they're riding, and the Segways go 12 miles an hour, so that's 24 miles an hour closing speed. We're jousting. Stop it right now.
I totally get that. It's some of the crazy stuff we used to do. I think it's par for
What are you
going
to do? What are you going to do, kids? Actually, look at this. This Segway 9-bot
even $1,000
is $539 on Amazon.
Wow. Who owns them now?
9-bot, Chinese company. But this is effectively the same as a Segway.
Wait a minute. Why aren't there any Segway sports? Why aren't
There was Segway Polo. Wozniak famously had a Segway Polo team.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
The problem with this Segway, and I think it's the same problem with this 9-bot, is you look like the ultimate dork riding around because you're 8 feet tall. You're standing on this platform, you have to stand.
And your posture has to be weird.
You're Paul Blart Mall Cop. So there were two couples that had Segways in town. Us, Lisa and me, and another couple. And we'd see them, we'd wave. And now it's just that couple. And they ride around on their Segways. And you stand out like a sore thumb. You really do.
So Dean Kamen's company is right behind Jake's apartment.
They're still around? He's the developer of the Segway. But he also made a very cool wheelchair that could climb stairs. He's brilliant.
Yeah, I wonder what he's making now.
I don't know. Not Segways. Segway took a little bit of a hit when the owner drove off a cliff and died.
Well, wasn't the owner?
He was the CEO.
Was the owner?
Yikes.
CEO. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it was. He was a former coal miner. He became wealthy by manufacturing the Hesco Bastion barrier system. In 2009, he bought Segway. In 2010, he died from injuries sustained from falling off a cliff while riding his Segway PT, which was the off-road. It's very sad.
So DEKA Research, that's where the iBot wheelchair is.
Yeah, I hope he still makes that. That was very cool. Gosh, I can't believe this.
Arm, a revolutionary prosthesis.
Prosthesis. That's right.
Allowing for multiple advanced movements. A small subcutaneous pump for drugs. Clean water for around the world. He does good stuff.
Nice.
He's a good man.
Efficiently converting almost any fuel into electrical power, Sterling.
And the Segway wasn't his fault. I think.
And he makes the freestyle Coke dispenser.
Really?
The what?
The one where you can hit all the buttons and get that.
He invented that?
So cool. Go to dekaresearch.com/innovations.
That's very...
the auto syringe. Oh, my Lord.
Well, he's invented so many things, but the Coca-Cola freestyle is a little odd.
I love that machine, don't you?
Yeah. They had one when we went to see Oppenheimer at the IMAX. There it is, AMC. AMC theaters, they have them in there. And you put a cup under there and you can make anything you want.
That delights you?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Not in the least.
Because Aunt, I drink lemonade, and you can never get, if you go to a place, if you go to Taco Bell, they replace the lemonade with some strawberry lemonade crap. There's only 5 choices. That's it. Right. I go to a place with freestyle. I can get lemonade. I can get pink lemonade. I can get diet lemonade. I can get any lemonade I damn well please, and that makes me happy. Okay. And you're going to make fun of me for that? Huh? Okay. You got a problem with that, Ann?
So
Simple
what's interesting is
it makes me happy.
Dean Kamen invented a wearable insulin pump, and he uses the same technology in the Coke Freestyle.
No.
Yes.
This is too cool.
It uses less than 1 kilowatt of electricity per hour, less than a hairdryer. And the purifier will use any water source, no matter how polluted. Laundry water. This may turn you off the Coke Freestyle.
Yep.
Groundwater, seawater, even sewage. It's all okay. It boils and evaporates the water. It actually distills it, condenses it,
in the
cleans
Freestyle?
Yes.
No.
possibly be? Oh no, that's something else.
No, that can't be.
That's something. He actually made a water purifier.
Oh no, that's the water purifier. That's the slingshot.
But it's
That's
in the
different.
same article as why Dean came and invented the Coca-Cola Freestyle. So I just
Well, it's other thing.
and other things.
Yes.
So he invented a water purifier and the Coke Freestyle, which really, if you think about it, is the opposite of a water purifier. It takes water and has corn syrup and flavoring.
It schmutzes it up.
Yeah, schmutzes it up.
1,000 calories.
Go either way.
Ugh.
I can't believe the Freestyle is still around. It's right. It's up there. You know, I think when they write the history of Western civilization, it'll be right up there with the McFlurry as kind of Rube Goldberg machines that only a civilization with an excess of free and leisure time would ever invent. Am I right?
Yeah. I've only seen those machines like a handful of times.
Next time you go to IMAX, you can live in the future.
And it. Hey, simple pleasures, Mr. Jarvis. I salute you.
That's all right. That's all right.
So
you like your mayonnaise. I like my mayonnaise.
It's a simple pleasure.
Do you play Valorant? I bet, Benito, you've played Valorant. You seem like a Valorant player.
No, because Tencent wants root access to your computer to install it. So
Oh,
no.
you're kidding. Tencent, which is the Chinese
Fail.
company that publishes Valorant,
Yep.
needs root access to install it.
It's for their anti-cheat, but I still no thanks.
I don't do any of these anti-cheat. Anything with anti-cheat, I don't play because it's got to be invasive by its nature. It's worse than DRM, really. So there was a big Valorant World Championship final in Los Angeles last week. Elon Musk showed up.
Okay.
Elon, here's a clip of his appearance of Elon Musk at the Valorant tournament.
You really can't see him at first. It just the camera hits him.
Listen, you can hear him. Once the crowd sees him,
A bigger reaction than 10's got?
Yeah, I think so.
they're starting to boo him
Nice.
and shout,
10 to 5.
"Bring back Twitter."
Focus back on the game now. Paper X. Another challenge for them.
This is all the excitement of esports brought to life.
10
And y'all
rounds.
give me grief about watching football,
Crowd's
huh?
funny.
Do you play Overwatch? Because this looks a little bit like kind of a boring Overwatch.
I do play Overwatch.
Yeah, Overwatch is much more fun than Valorant. This looks boring.
This is like Counter-Strike and Overwatch.
Yeah, it's
put
much
together.
more like
That's-
Counter-Strike.
that's what
Yeah,
it's supposed to be.
Well, apparently you can hear in this clip. I don't hear it, but you
I
can
heard
hear,
it.
Could
I
you
can
hear
it.
Elon
Bring
getting
it back
very beginning.
Twitter.
bring back
then later on,
Twitter.
you
Back
bring
Twitter.
back Twitter.
That's
No,
what they were doing.
don't
just
bring
now.
back Twitter.
No. That's what they were saying in there.
Yeah, they're wrong. By the way, you know that he fired a lot of people when he took over. There are 2,000, and one of the contracts you sign as an employee, and then we do it here, by the way, just so you know, don't think about suing me, is you agree.
Damn.
You agree that you
Fire your lawyer now,
you
Ant.
agree to binding arbitration.
I saw that in the documents when I
because
came on.
that it's just a sensible thing to put in the document. And apparently everybody hired
Everybody
Twitter.
does it.
Everybody in California does it.
Yeah.
They're actually thinking about making that illegal because you should have the right to sue me.
Everybody does that.
Yeah. Anyway, Twitter is now facing 2,200 arbitration cases from employees fired, they say, illegally. Ex-employees saying they failed to pay promised severance and then delayed the arbitration cases by not filing the fees, which totaled over $3 million.
Well, then sounds like they have a case, right?
You know, they're going.
Can you default on arbitration? Can you just if that's interesting.
That's an interesting question. They're using JAMS, which is the big arbitration company. I think it's probably what we use too. I don't know. Do we have we've never had to do it, but I don't know what we would do. I don't know. I don't think it specifies. For two-party matters, the filing fee at JAMS is $2,000. For matters based on a clause or agreement that's required as a condition of employment, the employee is only required, you'd be glad to hear this, to pay $400. It's cheap.
That's cheap.
Yeah. Anyway,
me.
Twitter's got a big bill.
Among many that they don't pay.
Why pay him? I want to go home, so let's do the Google change. let's go to the Google change log. Come on now, baby.
He ended it.
Let the good times roll. Chrome OS 116 is coming out with some nice new features, including autocorrect and cloud and local file search. Why would you want a file search? Oh, I guess in Chrome OS. I'm sorry. I think it was the browser. So this is for you, Jeff. So you can search your computer. Yeah. I was thinking Chrome, the browser. It's Chrome OS.
See, I didn't even take a slide at you at that time.
Yeah.
Do you install? You do. As soon as it's possible, you install the latest.
It just happens. That's the beauty of Chrome.
Just happens.
You don't even have to decide. This bloody Mac, which thank you very much, you gave me from about 20 years ago. I probably haven't updated it myself in 10 years. It just does it. Well, no, the Mac doesn't. The Mac tells you, you idiot, you should update. You should get your oil changed too.
But
you should get a vaccination.
No, wait a minute. Your Chromebook, doesn't it say restart to update or close?
That's all you got to do is restart. Well, next time you restart, if you turn it off for any reason and restart it, there it is. It's done. No decision, no effort, no nothing. A beautiful thing.
Glad you're happy with your toy computer.
And by simple pleasures, I have my Coke machine and my Chromebook.
A toy computer.
Google is discontinuing.
I don't go to terminal. I don't do any of that. I don't have to.
It'd probably run better if you could.
You can actually go to the terminal. That's actually one of the best parts about the Chromebook. You can install Linux on it. Google has discontinued. I don't even know if you knew about this. Do you know about Pixel Pass? This was where you would buy a phone and you'd get combined services all in one. You'd get Google One, Preferred Care, YouTube Premium, Google Play Pass.
I had no idea, and I have owned nothing but Pixels. How much did it cost before they killed it?
I didn't find out until someone mentioned it in our Discord this weekend.
I'm guessing that you would. They launched this in 2021 when the Pixel 6 came out. So if you wanted a Pixel 6, including all of those features, $45 a month. Pixel 6 Pro, $55 a month. You'd get 200 gigabytes storage of the Google One, Play Pass for premium games and apps. I actually pay for Play Pass. YouTube Premium, I also pay for that. I think it's all part of one subscription. Maybe it's Google One. So if you have a Pixel Pass, you'll be able to continue using it for 2 years from the subscription date.
And then it'll go a la carte after that? Is that what they're saying?
Let's see. New Pixel Pass subscriptions will no longer be available August 29th, so it's done. Why is it being discontinued? We offer the best value for our hardware products and give users flexibility. Blah, blah, blah. Is it available? No. Can I still upgrade my service? You can. Upgrade your Pixel device after 24 months, but you can't update your subscription to Pass, so you're going to have to,
Okay, so it is a la carte.
It was a way of I think, basically making it more affordable to get it.
And I guess I never knew about it because I already had those services and were paying.
Right. So you look for an email that you would have gotten on August 29th with the subject line, an important update on Pixel Pass. You will automatically renew every month until canceled on the Google subscriptions, and you'll get a monthly bill. So, sorry, I don't know how many. Google never said how many people did that. Probably they canceled it either because it was costing them too much money, because so many people did it, or it was a pain in the butt because nobody did it.
Right. I'm thinking more of B.
You think Plan B?
Plus, I'll bet it's also a problem, too, in internal politics. So who gets to allocate the revenue to their bottom lines?
That's right. That's a good point. And the writing was on the wall because they did not offer it for the 7A or the Fold, their two most recent phones.
Oh.
So that's kind of a little hint. Do you use Google Chat? The successor to, I don't know what.
To what, yeah.
Hangouts, I guess. They're adding voice messages and will now interoperate with Slack and Teams. That's basically giving up. That's saying, yeah, go ahead, use Slack. We don't care. All right.
Well, interoperating is kind of neat.
How does it interoperate?
I don't know.
They partnered. Oh, this is terrible. They partner with collaborative interoperability solution provider Mio, so that messages sent using Google Chat can appear in Slack or Teams or vice versa.
Oh, that sounds confusing. Yeah,
doesn't sound good. Anyway, how long before Google kills Chat? It's just a matter of time. And if you have a Pixel Fold or Pixel tablet. I have the tablet at home. You'll be able to know Android 14 Beta 5.2 is rolling out and has fixes for those.
You mean the tablet you're not so thrilled about?
Well, just, you know what? It's doing the same exact thing as the Nest Hub Max that it replaced. It's just sitting there being a hub. Stacy was right. She said, don't buy this expensive clock, kitchen timer.
Speaking
and actually,
of which,
it's worse because every once in a while I'll ask it to do something and say, you'll have to enter your PIN to do that. It's like, no, I don't want to enter my PIN. What's the point of that?
Oh, man.
So it is a tablet.
So, Leo, when you picked up after Windows Weekly, I never seen it did this before. You picked up your clock?
I put my clock in the window every day. It's
Why?
Because it's one of those atomic radio clocks, that gets the time signal. Because it's important in a broadcast environment that all
got to be synced.
All the clocks be accurate, so this show can begin precisely at 1:59:59, right? It clicks over, and the show
hard
begins.
ins and hard out.
How do you think we start the way we start?
This is a broadcast operation. But unfortunately, it's apparently my studio. This used to be a Broadcom office before we moved in 5 years ago or 6 years ago now. 7 years.
7 years ago.
7 years ago. And I am in what used to be the server room. So I'm guessing they put metal in the walls or something because that clock does not get a signal. I have to put it in the window every night so that it will be accurate so that I can begin the shows exactly.
Well, how inaccurate would it be? It's like a nanosecond?
It won't matter. It drifts over time. I don't know, John. We know. I mean,
you should ask Doc Searles about his clock. He's got one
1 second a week. So I would be starting the show in a year. I'll be starting the show a minute late. That's not okay. You know that I am a stickler for network.
All right, no, wait, I can stay on this for a second. So how many years have you been having that habit of moving the clock every night?
Since we moved here, I've had to put that clock in the window.
So 7 years you've done that. He can't remember
by now
what he was talking about 3 minutes ago, but he remembers to move the clock to the window.
Clock. Well, wait a minute. Now let's get this right. You said a second a week. 7 years is 364 weeks. So it would be 6 minutes off by now if I didn't put it in the window on a regular basis. 6 minutes.
Slower or faster?
Is it slower or faster, John? Which way does it drift? Faster. So we'd actually have to start this show 6 minutes earlier.
Sooner.
This could be like daylight savings time.
That'd be
There's
terrible.
Leo savings time. Yeah, it's.
So thank goodness I put that clock in the window. You just noticed I do that.
So instead of starting at 2:20, we had to start at 2:14.
And heaven, by the way, heaven forfend that I should forget to take the clock out of the window and put it back where it belongs on the set. People in the chat room go crazy if the clock's not there.
Yep, I've seen that in IRC.
And again, I don't know why.
Quite passionate about that.
Time is basically, it's your opinion, man. It's just your opinion.
It's all relative.
It's all relative. That's the Google change law. And in a moment, we will get your picks of the week with a highly truncated pick of the week. I'm going to have to start doing a pick of the week now.
Yep, you will.
Just to fill this thing out.
You can take one of mine if you want.
Yeah, you got extras.
I always have more than one.
You know what? You're very good. Time for the picks of the week. Jeff Jarvis, what do you got for us?
All right. Well, I'll do two since you're derelict.
I got
here.
nothing.
Yeah. So Zuck says he can type 100 words a minute wearing a headset with a virtual keyboard. Little touch of video here.
Oh, there's video? All right, because I want to see.
Yes.
So is he like twitching his fingers in the air to show this?
Well, you'll see. No, it's not in the air. It's on a tabletop.
So it projects a screen on the. Oh, here it is. Okay.
In his vision, yes.
He sees it, and he says
and
he
hears
can do
it.
100 words per minute is fast on a regular keyboard, right?
Yeah.
What is normal? Like 60 to 90, right?
Yeah.
100's really fast.
He could be a secretary, Leo.
Somebody get Zuck on the phone for the next twig.
Is he looking at his fingers? All right. So
That's an interesting
Apple's going to do this too with their Vision Pro. They're going to have a floating keyboard. It's like you have this thing called a keyboard. It works. It's physical. It sits
you're
there.
such an old fart.
But it
What
gets
do you
in
need?
but it gets in the way.
But I got to wear a headset so that I could see an imaginary keyboard.
Well, but then you can
and
do it
wave
anywhere.
my fingers in the air.
But
is
if
this
you're
an
using a
improvement?
virtual keyboard in the air, you're not going to have wrist problems anymore,
you
right?
are going to have arm problems.
You just have
Go ahead, do that for an hour.
do that, and your shoulders are going to be.
You're gonna be-
Ant could do it.
Yoked, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good for you.
Shoulders, you're going to fill out this coat, man.
Our Reality Labs research says Zuck on Instagram turns any flat surface into a virtual keyboard with touch typing. We have a race. And Boz Tank checked in at 120 words a minute. I was just around 100. Boy, talk about a humble brag. Oh, yeah, I lost. I was only 100 words.
Around 100.
I don't understand how that could be so fast. You think it makes you faster to have a virtual keyboard?
I don't know. I mean, since all I do is type, I actually kind of be curious. That's the first good use I've imagined for virtual world.
I can only imagine what carpal tunnel is going to be like with these things. Really?
Well, he's going to be barfing first.
Oof.
But haven't you heard how some people will say they type faster on their phone than on their laptop? or
They're
their computer?
liars.
I sure don't. They are liars, yes.
They are liars.
They just type really
Remember the
slow
old
on a real
T9?
keyboard.
Remember T9?
T9, yeah. I mean, I've seen people,
T9. Yeah.
but that's a freaky, weird thing to do.
Okay.
You want to do another one, Jeff? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do another one, which is after Google screwed the pup on domains on top of everything else that they discontinue.
They sold it to Squarespace, yeah.
And so WordPress came in and said, well, we'll do domains. And now they're saying they'll offer a 100-year domain plan so that when you conk, you can be confident that Uncle Joe's site will still be up.
You're saying in the year 2123,
Buzz Machine will still be
there.
Yeah.
How much is a 100-year domain
I don't know. Does
registration?
it say? I should have actually read the story
It does
beyond
say.
the
I
headline.
thought you would know. So I
found
let
out
you-
something because I was
let
going to
you-
talk about
I was
it.
going to ask you. You have to. Oh, wait a minute. You have to ask for a quote. You have to ask for a quote. They don't say. It's an investment in tomorrow.
Well, is it like life insurance? Oh, you're old, Jarvis. Okay, then in that case.
So it's
it'll be a
really
lot
not
less.
more than a domain registration. You get the domain for 100 years, but you also get your web hosting for 100 years as guardians of your life's work.
$38,000 or $380 per year.
Okay, that's like their top of the line plan.
I love that bullet
You
point.
get a
Even
managed
more peace of
WordPress
mind.
experience, but since you're dead, you don't need to worry about the entering text or anything. Unmetered bandwidth, best in class speed, unstoppable security, bundled. That is a bold statement.
It is.
I wonder if anybody's going to spend $38,000 and do that. That's weird. No, of course not.
We still going to be using domains in 100 years?
Well, yeah. Will there
good
be
question.
web in 100 years? Exactly, Benito.
Good question.
Huh. Okay, Mr. Pruitt, you got something for us?
Yeah, my first quick pick of the week. Sony announced some new cameras this week.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Well, it's the A7C and the A7CR. The A7C is a tiny, tiny, tiny full-frame mirrorless camera from Sony.
Oh boy, 61 megapixels.
But that's the R. The new A7C is 33 megapixels. I think it's up from 24. And it was a good camera, but it's just too tiny for my hands.
The problem with tiny also is that the lenses don't shrink along with the camera.
So it sort of
you have this
feels
little body
weird.
on a big lens.
Yeah, it feels weird to hold, but some
Yeah.
people like those bodies. And then the Mark II, the R is the same body, but it's 61 megapixels, similar to your A7 IV.
That's really good.
So it's going to
I have
look
a 5. But
really,
that's okay.
Oh, you got a 5.
Yeah.
It's going to look really good.
7C2 will be available in the fall, which means any day now. $21.99.
Good price.
If you equip it with a 28 to 60 millimeter lens, $24.99. The R is $3,000. A little bit more.
It's a good price.
Actually, that seems like it's less than my A7R.
It is less.
Yeah.
But again, it's a really, really tiny camera body to hold.
Is it otherwise the same as an A7R?
I remember the last year's
C is
A7C
a
was
new-
the same as the
C
A7.
is compact. Okay. Just a
the same as
compact version.
A7 IV, I believe.
Okay. What else you got?
Next, I wanted to bring this up because Mr. Simon Phipps brought up Beeper.
I don't like this at all.
As y'all were talking about
I don't like
chat
this at
and
all.
Google.
I
and
don't like this at all.
What are your thoughts on this? I don't plan on using it, but Mr. Simon Phipps, one of the co-hosts on our show Floss Weekly, he uses this because he doesn't want to.
Well, it's the
have a
holy
bunch of
grail.
different-
Remember Pigeon?
I remember Pigeon.
Yeah. I mean, the idea of having one app that does all your chats, and this will do WhatsApp, this will do Instagram and Slack, but the biggest, and even X, but the biggest one is it will do Apple's messages. Mm-hmm. And right now, if you're on an Android device, getting Apple messages is
Right.
problematic.
Right.
Here's how they do it. They have an iPhone in there dedicated to you in their server, and all your messages get sent
Through the phone. What?
to their server. For a while, they actually had Macs, or they wanted you to use a Macs. I got invited to this, and I decided I did not want to send. They say you are encrypted, so they can't see it, but and it is a Matrix server, so that's a good open source product. That's probably why Simon is into this. WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Twitter, iMessage, Android SMS, Telegram, Signal, Beeper, Slack, Google Chat, Instagram, IRC.
There
Matrix,
is something
Discord,
appealing
LinkedIn.
about that.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, he didn't want to. We use Slack here at Twit, of course, and he's hardly ever in our Floss Weekly Slack, and we figured out
So
why.
that might be a good solution for him.
And now
Yeah.
he's in there. He's like, oh, okay, well,
I use a
Beeper, so now I
free
can get
open
into
source program called AirMessage to get all of my Apple messages into my Android device. So this Android uses AirMessage as its default SMS. And so there it is. And so all my Apple texts and all of my Android texts are in one thing. And when somebody texts me, it shows up here, whether it's on Android or Apple. And it uses SMS. So I think this is
Nice.
it's a good solution. And it's free. I run the server, though. I have to keep a Mac running at home that's doing this. This one, they run the server. I don't know. It's an interesting
How much
idea.
does it cost?
I don't know.
I think what Ann said is the use case, though. It's like if I have one contact on some
I
other
understand
messenger
it.
app that I don't
I totally
use.
understand it. Yeah. I can't remember what the cost was.
I didn't ask.
I got it. I applied for an invite months ago. I got invited in, and then when I read that I had to have everything go to them, I said, "Yeah,
that's where they lost you.
I lost me on that."
Well, I'm going to.
But it
reach out
does
to
solve a
them
problem that
to
nothing
be on
else
the
can
show.
solve. Yeah, do. It solves a problem nothing else can solve. Nobody does all of these,
Right.
which is really cool.
It's usually a few, but not some of the others, and vice versa. So,
right.
but
Slack
yeah,
does Slack is pretty great.
right.
See if it gets more responsive on Slack.
We shall.
Yeah,
We shall.
That'll be a test.
My last one is again for folks that are thinking about everybody out in Maui. You can still show them some love and
It's
support.
not too late. They need it more than ever now.
We do have a link in our show notes for a resource that shows you where you can actually donate, and it's not a scam, and it will actually help these people. And I got this from Mr. Brian Chi of This Week in Enterprise Tech.
Longtime Hawaiian resident.
Yes.
Who has moved to Florida. but
He is now in Orlando, Florida.
He still loves Hawaii.
and
Yeah.
still running from hurricanes and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I
check
hope it
that
went
out.
north of him today.
MauiNow.com. MAUI now.
Oh yeah, I didn't say that. Sorry.
And they have a whole page of, it's not just one thing. There's a
Yes,
whole
a lot of
page of
different
places you
resources
can donate.
there.
So you could pick if I want to help animals, or I want to have the food bank, or the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement, et cetera, et cetera. Really great. Good. Thank you, Ant. I will start preparing a pick. I used to not do it just because I want to give you guys all the time you needed, but I think it's time. Next week, though, we do have somebody to fill in for Stacy. Who did I say? I forgot.
Glenn?
Mr. Glenn.
Glenn Fleischman. Jeff, you're going
And
somewhere.
I'm gone.
Where are you going?
Yeah, I've got an event.
All right.
The CNTI, this new policy group that I'm going to be an advisor to, is having its unveiling.
Excellent. That's September 6th, September 13th. Kathy Gellis, attorney at law,
Kathy Gellis.
IP
Esquire.
expert. will
Always
join us.
good discussion.
Yeah, she's great.
Esquire.
CGCouncil.com. And we're working on some others to get them on a regular basis. perhaps even replace Stacey, although she is irreplaceable.
This is true.
Jeff Jarvis is the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Buy his book, by the way. Good reading. And really makes an excellent point how the internet age and the Gutenberg age, the similarities, the differences is really good. The Gutenberg parenthesis.
Not that history repeats itself, but there are lessons to be learned.
Yes. Gutenberg-parenthesis.com. I hope your ears were burning on Sunday. I was talking about what I've learned from you, which is that mass media is a relatively new invention of humankind, and that, what we kind of take for granted as having, we need a mass media. Well, we never had one before. Do we really need one? Fascinating stuff. Thank you, Jeff. Ant Pruitt.
Thank you.
Website is antpruitt.com/prints. Buy some prints.
Please and thank you. And also, folks, as the Club Twit Community Club member, make sure you join and check out our book club that we're having tomorrow.
So that's I did have that question. So Stacey is going to do the book club tomorrow.
She will be in book club tomorrow.
And it's not too late if you read fast.
You can just come in and just listen to the conversation and share your 2 cents.
What's the book, Ant?
Translation State by Ann Leckie.
All right, 9 a.m. In the club. If you're not a Club Twit member, you're missing out on the best deal in content. Not only do you get ad-free versions of all of our shows, you get access to the Club Twit Discord. Ant's our community manager, makes some great stuff. How did that photo walk go? I couldn't make it because I
really
was
had
exposed.
a good time with Mr. Joe Esposito.
Did he come out for that?
He came all the way over.
Oh, I'm going to kick myself that I missed Joe.
We had a good time. Some good pictures. We have a thread here in our Discord with some images from Saturday. Had a good time.
I'm sorry I missed you, Joe, but I didn't want to expose you.
Had a cigar, and it was great.
I had just gotten the news from Lisa that she was infected, and I wasn't sure whether I was or not. So I thought,
I got that text, and I was like, "Shoot, you stay away.
I should be careful."
I think I told her, "Hang in there."
So there's another advantage of being in the club. We will not expose you to COVID if we can help it. You also get,
however, you freeloaders.
No, I can't promise anything. You also get shows that we don't put out anywhere else, including the Untitled Linux Show with Jonathan Bennett, Hands on Macintosh with Michael Sargent, Hands on Windows with Paul Thurrott, Scott Wilkinson's Home Theater Geeks. Lots of great content in there.
And
the Jason's AI show.
Maybe
Jason and Jeff's
maybe that's
AI.
what we're calling it.
How about Jason and Jeff's AI adventure?
Howl 9000 is what Jammer B is calling it.
Jason and Jeff's excellent AI adventure.
Hey, by the way.
Tomorrow, by the way. What time do you do that, 1 p.m.?
That'll be at 1, I believe. That'll be at 1.
Yes.
Also,
West Coast.
Folks that
God's time, 4 o'clock.
Sure.
Sorry, Ant.
My goodness. For folks, again, interested in Club Twit, yes, it's $7 a month, but we do have single show plans.
$2.99.
So if your favorite show is This Week in Google and you can't quite pull off the $7 a month, you can get This Week in Google only for $2.99 per month. So
either way, it really helps us
hugely
keep the show on the air. So we really appreciate it. Thank you. And I know those of you who would love this show to go away. But there is unfortunately no way to do a negative contribution. Like, I will take $7 until you cancel. We don't have that yet. Although, hey, we could work on it.
Come on in and join Like a Joe, and join Esposito, and join Quippy, all
Great
of us
bunch
here
of
in
people.
The club.
It really is fun. Yeah. Thank you all for being here. We do This Week in Google every Wednesday, 2 p.m.-ish. Precisely at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern
That clock
time.
tells us exactly how late we are.
2100 UTC. You can watch the live or listen to the live stream at live.twit.tv. If you're doing that, chat with us in IRC, irc.twit.tv. Actually, you can use a browser, so you don't have to have an IRC client for that. Or in our Club Twit Discord. After the fact, on-demand versions of the show are at twit.tv/twig, TWIG. If you go there, you'll see a link to the YouTube channel dedicated to the show. That's a great place to watch if you want to see the video or share clips, because YouTube makes that very easy. course, the easiest thing to do, if you want to listen to every show, is subscribe in your favorite podcast client. We'd appreciate that. If you subscribe, you'll get it automatically as soon as we're done, and you can listen at your leisure. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.
Hey, I'm Rod Pyle, editor-in-chief of Ad Astra Magazine, and each week I join with my co-host to bring you This Week in Space, the latest and greatest news from the final frontier. We talk to NASA chiefs, space scientists, engineers, educators, and artists, and sometimes we just shoot the breeze over what's hot and what's not in space, books, and TV. And we do it all for you, our fellow true believers. So whether you're an armchair adventurer or waiting for your turn to grab a slot in Elon's Mars rocket, join us on This Week in Space and be part of the greatest adventure of all time.